what's going on, everybody? I'm Hot Jukes here with Span Cargo, and welcome to the PUBG Mobile Club Open Fall Split here for 2021. This is where it all starts. Here, Span. I'm so excited to be able to work with you the first time, see all the great work you've done in some of the other regions. So welcome to North America. Welcome to NA. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm really excited to be here. You said it yourself. I'm used to being in a little bit of other regions, so I'm so excited to be here in NA to watch these guys go through PMCO NA. And I'm expecting some great stuff. I cannot wait.
This is where like all the dreams are started here. I mean, these are some new people who qualified through the open, and from here we're going to hopefully see some teams move on to the pro league and bigger tournaments that are coming up. But before that, let's go ahead and get started by showing everybody the format here for this tournament. So you can tell you guys it's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see how this is all going to turn out here, because this is a big momentous event, especially for a lot of these new teams.
Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of a different going through here. I'm looking forward to see how they're going to go on ahead and deal with the way throughout this format. You know, like you always start off like probably today being day one, kind of a little bit worried about what's happening, probably going in with a little bit of fire inside of them. Like all these teams, they want to start off strong because a big part of these games is mentality. So going in just on day one with that format, you know, you got to just start strong so then you can go on ahead and end consistent. It's terrible in my opinion to go on ahead and start off and lose off on the first game, you know, not do so well. It just absolutely like hurts. Like what would go through your mind going through like this first day? This first day, I think, in my opinion, is the most important.
I mean, the first day, I think all I'm going to see is just nerves. That's really the big thing here. And I want to say to everybody that's watching this right now, you got a lot of new players here. A lot of the time, this is people who just got together with their friends, some squads like that. We also have, of course, some teams that do have some veterans in there. But for a lot of these people, it's their first time playing in a competitive setting like this. So I pray and I ask everybody that's watching this, give these guys a little bit of a break, because the nerves are going to be at an all-time high. And, we're going to see some people make some mistakes because of that, I'm assuming. And, let's just kind of calm down on the roasting sessions, like at least for now here for the first day. But it's going to be exciting to see who's going to really stand out. That's what I'm looking forward to. Who's got that confidence and who's going to just start crushing it right off the bat.
I can't wait to see who's going to go on ahead and swat it out of the park, because that'll give us kind of like an expectation. Okay, like can they go on ahead and continue to be really consistent with things? Will they like right off the gate go on ahead and pick it up strong, or is there going to be some inconsistencies? Will we see some strengths in some areas, like will it be team fighting, will it be long range or specific maps? Because we know that each map has a different kind of gameplay as well. And honestly, being able to see that with these new people coming on in and seeing how they're going to go on ahead and take it on is interesting to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for sure. I mean, so many of these new teams coming in. I am interested in which teams are going to go and hit those hot drop locations. But here we go. We got the format here for you guys. And you can see here for the group stage, there's going to be 32 teams per region, 6 days of competition, 4 matches per day. That's right. We're going to be covering 4 matches. Top teams advance to the finals. And then once we get to those finals, 16 teams. So, I mean, we're going to have quite a few squads eliminated here in the group stages.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the half of the teams are going to go on ahead and not make it through here. So I kind of already talked about it, right? You really have to go on ahead and do well in these first few games. Continue to be consistent if you're hoping to get into those top spots to be able to continue. And then those finals, 16 teams, 4 days of competition, 4 matches per day, but also to get to those top spots, you have to think about the points. So every single one of these teams are trying to get those points to get into those top spots. And there's 2 ways to be able to go on ahead and do that, right, Jukes?
Yes, ma'am. Let's go ahead and take a look at the points, how these guys are going to be able to accumulate those. And it's the format that we've been using here recently. And I love it. First place, that chicken dinner is going to score you 15 points. Second is 12. Third is 10. And then we just see an insane kind of drop off pretty much from there. Because you look at that 8 through 12, 1 point. 13 through 16, you get the goose egg. And then, of course, that ever important 1 kill equals 1 point. Kills are going to be huge here.
Both are honestly super important, right? I mean, we can see the huge drop off, but to really get the most amount of points, you obviously, it feels like I'm stating the obvious, but you want to stay alive for as long as possible because those placement points ramp up so much, and at the longer you stay alive, the more fights you'll get in, the more kills you get, the more points you get. So we really need to see consistency with all of these teams. You can't just go in super aggressive, get a ton of kills. You really have to think about the entire picture.
I mean, all they have to do is just not die, right? I
Yeah,
mean, if they're
that's
just
true.
be able to do that, I mean, they're going to be able to get some of that cheddar, baby. Let's go ahead and take a look and see exactly how much money is on the line here for the club open here in the fall split for 2021. I mean, it's going to be huge. And I'm interested to see which teams are looking to utilize that strategy. Like, which squads are going to be focusing on, like you mentioned, consistency in those points. Now we got that prize pull up, or who's going to go with those kills. And you can see 30K here in the PMCO. And this is the biggest prize pool for a PMCO that I have ever seen.
Wow. Well, I mean, look at that first place, $4,000 for first, 2,500 for second, 1,700 for third, and then it slowly decreases. But still, even if you get 17 through 32nd, you'll get 500 big ones. Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing is just the experience for a lot of these players. Because I mean, a
Yeah,
lot of
that's
these
true.
people just like got their friends together. There's going to be a few teams that are just a group of buddies who just play this game for fun and were able to qualify here. So the experience is going to be great. And of course, for some people, $4,000, I mean, it's $1,000 a person. That's good money. But the big thing is moving on to those next stages, because the prize pools coming up here for 2021, I think, what was it, PUBG Mobile announced like $14 million in total for 2020. It's insane. So, I mean, you definitely want to get one
Yeah.
of those top spots.
Get that top spot, going ahead and continue on to that PMPL. And let's actually go ahead and take a look at our schedule for today, because as you know, it kicks off today. We have a couple maps ahead of us. We already said that we're going to have 4 matches for today. And we're going to be starting off on Erangel. There we go. We can see there match 1, 8 p.m. Erangel, A and B. And it looks like we got something similar, A, B for Sanhok, Miramar, and Erangel afterwards as well.
Yeah, so I mean, it's gonna be the good old fashioned rotation that we've seen here in the past. Erangel, then we're gonna take it over to the jungle to Miramar, and then back to that good old Erangel. And I love starting it off with Erangel, because I mean that's the tried and true map that everybody just knows so well, right? And
For
I'm
sure.
looking forward to see which teams are going to drop in those hot drop locations, because I mean, in my opinion, that's the big difference between PMCO versus other tournaments, right? Because PMPL, PMSCL, PMGC, all those big tournaments, all those top squads, they know each other really well, and they have respect, saying, okay, you drop a chink, yeah, I'm gonna go drop over here. But here in this first day, this is all just trying to get data. No one's going to really know. So I'm going to be looking forward to see which squads are going to kind of hot drop each other and kind of challenge each other and set the tone for saying, hey, this is our spot. Don't come here. Don't come here. That's what I want to see.
I mean, that's super important. You're right. Like, usually they have figured out the hot drops. They kind of know, oh, we know this other team really likes making this certain rotation on this circle. But coming in here, nobody knows anything. Usually that kind of happens on day 1, too. They're kind of feeling each other out. Usually day 1 is usually a little bit chaotic before slowly getting into the groove of things, starting to really understand the lobby is what I call it. And yeah, I'm actually expecting, I'm sure we're going to see a bunch of hot drops and probably a lot of really early engagements happening. And that's always exciting to see, starting off with a bang, seriously, before going on to the whole rest of the game. And starting off, I already said it, like every single match really matters. So in those hot drop situations, you really got to be able to pull it out. So that's really going to be a test for these guys and their team fights and their communication.
So let me ask you this, Ben. I got a question for you. I'm going to put you in the hot seat right now, right?
Oh no.
Going into Erangel, first match, okay?
Yeah.
If you were in here right now, knowing that it's PMCO, you don't have that data, right? And if you were the squad leader, where are you dropping? Huh? What are you thinking?
Oh man. I mean, I feel like, okay,
It's a
well, if
tough
I
one,
was really
right?
confident, Picado, but I have a place in my
Ooh.
heart for Gatka split. So if I was doing really spicy,
Ah,
Picado, but safe Gatka split.
gotcha. Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong. The good old Gatka slid off. I love that west side of that map,
Got a lot
man.
of
That's
space
really
over
good
there. Yeah.
rotationally. Yeah, for sure. And I
Got
think that's I mean, that's what a lot of these IGLs, a lot of these squads are having to think about, right? Like, do we go and drop, to Pachinki, really hot drop area, or do we go off to that side angle or head off really far toward the edges of the map and crawl in? And I think the problem is when you deal with nerves, I think we've seen in the past, I've seen so many squads. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Pachinki just completely abandoned. Like every player just saying, "Oh, let's all drop safe. Let's all drop on the corners of the map." And when that
It's happened.
happens, that's like the most toxic thing, because now it's just a battle on all the edges and the small maps. I don't know,
Nobody in the
but
middle. Yeah.
it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy to see for sure.
That could happen. You're right. I mean, that has happened before. Like everybody gets in their head, like, oh, like 5 teams are gonna go Pachinki, and then like nobody's there. So it kind of is. I mean, reaction drops, you can kind of slowly figure it out. That's why I kind of said, like, day one really is that feel out day, kind of getting used to everybody else in the lobby. Then afterwards, after all the games, they could go on ahead and go through to their VOD review, figure out where everybody tends to like to do, and really get that information to make the rest of the days more difficult. So really today is really kind of which teams can kind of do stuff on their toes, think on their feet, and are able to make adjustments when needed. So like another reason why I like the Gatka area for myself is when I used to compete, I will say. So like in that Gatka area, there's so many compounds over there, right? That if you see someone beside you, you can kind of just go to the other compound near you because there's so many. So
I mean, it's going to be interesting to see these strategies from these squads. It's going to be so tough on that first match, and the thing is that it's almost all going to be a first match here today, because they're going to do Erangel for the first time, Sanhok, Miramar. The only other one is going to be the second Erangel, where they're going to have at least some data. But we'll see how it goes. And at the end of the day, this is going to really show which team is looking to put in the most work, because we've already had a few iterations of the Club Open in the past. So a lot of these newer teams, I'm not gonna lie, they're behind the 8 ball. Like they have to come in hungry, put in insane amount of hours to be able to move on to those later stages. Because these prize pools coming later on are, I mean, it's literally a life-changing amount of money that these guys can win.
Yeah, so I think that's a really exciting prospect. Obviously all these guys really have something inside them. They want to be able to go on ahead and get that far. So today I think the thing I'm looking forward to the most is to see if there is any sort of consistency on a couple of these teams, just to see if they're really going to be able to pull that off. So that's what I'm personally going to be looking forward to in all of these games today. How about you, Jukes?
I mean, that's what I'm looking forward to. That's what I'm really looking forward to, is the squads, to see which squad is going to stand out. And I think that's something that we've always seen in the past PMCO. I think this is the third PMCO that I've casted so far. We usually see one squad that just boom, like, yo, we're here, we're ready for PMPL, and we see a couple others that are kind of in a race between each other. And then of course we have some teams that, I'm gonna be honest, just straight up get bodied, but it is what it is. It is what it is, like, and
part of
even
it competing.
It is, but I'll say this, for anybody that is watching this right now, the next PMCO that comes up, apply. That we've had, I mean, there was thousands and thousands of teams that have attempted to be able to play here. Of course, these are the ones that are going to be playing today. But I'll tell you what, if you've never played a game of comp before in your life, it's like playing an entirely different game. So, I mean, these squads, if it's their first time, they're going to be in for something. That's for sure.
Yeah, and if anything, it's a great learning experience to go on ahead and try again. It is so different, just exactly like you said. It's just an entirely different ballgame, entirely different game in general, right? Once you get into there. So this is honestly like, you got to go in with that mentality, like, hey, if this is our first time here and we don't quite know what we're doing just yet, and we don't do so well, at least it's a learning experience. At least we'll go out with a learning experience to come back next time stronger. I mean, how many times have we seen that happen before? So anything that they're going to be able to take out of this, they'll be able to take something out of it. So that's always the good thing in all of this situation. And honestly, it's always a good experience in my opinion. And I just can't wait to watch it, because I know it's going to be great.
I'm so pumped. I'm so pumped.
Yeah, I
know. Teams in the future that are watching this back, and listening to this now, if you didn't have the best first day, don't take it too hard. Don't take it too hard. I mean, it is what it is. Just come back in tomorrow and just come in harder. But guys, welcome to the Hot Jukes and Span Cargo podcast. as we're waiting for these teams, to get loaded up in the lobby. I know some of you guys in the chat are already probably just like, yo, stop talk, start game, and trust me, if I
Press
had the
start.
button right
Yeah.
here, I'd be spamming it, but hopefully we'll get started here in a minute, guys. So just, be patient here as we're getting everything on the ball rolling. We want to make sure all these teams have the best opportunity, their best first start ever. So it's coming up here, and I want to talk about, some of the players that are playing here. So I've been looking at the rosters and looking at the teams kind of coming up here. I do notice a few veterans, like with there's going to be a team called Wall Street Bets. They got King A, who's a huge veteran player in the NA pro scene. I know a guy named Mr. Shady is going to be playing in here, Yugi, a few other guys. So you got some players that are, I'm gonna be frank. Some of these top players have been kind of like displaced. Like they're trying out a new team. They're getting these new things going, and I'm gonna be really interested to see how some of these guys, are able to start off with a new squad, because I can only imagine how tough it is to get that synergy going with a new team in such a shorter period amount of time.
Oh my goodness. Honestly, it's really difficult. The big thing is that synergy that you have to get down through a ton of practice. So coming in here, if you don't have that much practice, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. But you really honestly, in my opinion, you got to stick with it, even if you don't go ahead and qualify, and continue to practice with the team, because it really is just slowly getting used to each other. And that's how you're going to improve with that experience together in this. And I also got to point out, I was told to look out for God Sentinel and Wall Street Bets. So that's currently who I'm going to be looking at.
Big teams. I got a couple big hitters here, so we're going to see how they're able to start off the day. Everybody, will be right back after this short break. Hopefully we get started here soon, guys. Don't go anywhere.
The OnePlus 9 Pro.
The OnePlus 9 Pro.
Oh my god, this phone feels incredible.
The best processor, 120 hertz, 12 gigs of RAM, and a Hasselblad camera. What more could you want?
The HyperTouch on this bad boy is phenomenal.
The best model of OnePlus phone I have used to date. OnePlus 9 Pro.
The OnePlus 9 Pro. Oh my god, this phone feels incredible. The best processor, 120 hertz, 12 gigs of RAM, and a Hasselblad camera. What more could you want?
The hyper touch on this bad boy is phenomenal.
The best model of OnePlus phone I have used to date.
Welcome back, everybody. Here we go, getting everything started here. I hope you guys got your popcorn, got your drinks ready here to get started today. Man, I'm always pumped up. I'm excited. I know you're excited, Span Cargo. Huh? How are your thoughts so far here as we're getting a little closer here to start?
I'm like trying to contain myself and stay in my seat. I'm actually really excited to see what's gonna happen. I know it's like I'm trying not to be like over ecstatic about it, but I'm really looking forward to see how these guys are gonna start off the bat because I just know how important that day one is. And for groups A and B, it is. Can't wait to see who's going to be playing in it and how well they're going to be doing in the Miramar sandwich, as one of my caster friends call it, the Erangel, Sanhok, Miramar, Erangel games.
Gotcha. I see it. That sounds delicious here. We're going to start off the day one intro. We got obviously 4 groups here playing inside of the PMCO. Today, it's going to be Group A versus Group B. Tomorrow, we're going to go on to Group C versus Group D. So we're going to see these. I kind of like the fact that we're going to see just these 2 groups go at it all day today. So they're going to be used to playing against the same teams, right? What do you think?
I think it'll definitely feel better for them. That means we're not going to see as much chaos with it. So they'll be getting used to each other more, and then we'll have much more competitive games, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that's always fun is we start seeing the groups mix up, and that's kind of the tough part I think about PMCO is the fact that they're gonna go against Group A and Group B, but then we're gonna see A and C go at it, A and D go at it. So it's like all that data that you got, you really can't put it to work. So I really am hoping to see some of these squads like watch the next days of matches very carefully because those are gonna be the teams that they're facing against soon.
And speaking of A and B, though, we're going to take a look at those teams specifically. Yeah, there's all of the groups, but let's focus specifically on A and B, Jukes. You want to go on ahead and introduce them?
I'll do it. All right, it's Group A. We're starting off with Ornata Gaming, and then we're going to go to Just for Fun, GT Esports NA, Vibes NA, hey, good vibes only, right? Ogilvy, University? Oh, yeah, right. There we go. Immortal NA. Yes, and HTV Esports. And then we got Group B, Span. Take it away.
We got Wall Street Bets, straight out of Nepal, Better Than You, God Sent, 6 Elites, Walls Castle, The Terror, and featuring who? I guess we'll know soon.
All right. I mean, I see a lot of people in the chat cheering on God Sent. I see the YouTube chat blowing up with Team OP. So we're going to see them play tomorrow. Yeah. I see a lot of Babas in the chat as well. So I'm going to write that down and put it on my list because if you got that much people coming in here, I'm looking to see how they're going to perform.
I'm looking forward to all these guys. So I know we're starting off on A and B, but, we're going to be able to cast these other groups as well. And honestly, that's just making me look forward to every single day. But starting off with A and B, taking a look at this, I don't really know what to expect going into this one, but I know that a lot of these names and these logos are definitely standing out to me. And I guess, we'll know just off of the gate, like game 1, who's going to go on ahead and win it.
I think right off the bat, you're going to have high expectations for Godsend. That's like the real big team name that I think a lot of people are going to recognize. A lot of these other squads are new names, new teams. And I'll tell you what, this is their opportunity. This is their chance to be able to put their names out there, show, sponsors, other team organizations that, hey, we came here to play, sign us. So I'm really looking to see who's going to start that out. Godsend, I think they have the highest expectations, at least for me, watching all this. Yeah. But at the end of the day, any one of these guys can just come up and really push themselves ahead of the rest.
I already said it at the beginning. So yeah, for today, I'm gonna be looking at both Godson and Wall Street bets. I want to see what they're gonna be able to do, or somebody else entirely could go on ahead and show us like, hey, you should be looking at me instead. And honestly, I live for that. You go in and you hear about a couple teams that you're kind of expecting something, and then this other team that you didn't hear about, they go on ahead and literally blow it out of the water. Like I'm excited to see if that's what's gonna happen today.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're gonna see which teams are gonna be able to utilize those different strats, right? I think you're gonna see a couple squads say, "Yo, let's just go kill heavy." Let's try to get all those
Mm-hmm.
points racked up via kills, and then you're gonna have some of those teams that are just very tactical. And that's what I love about PUBG Mobile is that there's so many different ways that you can play this game to win it. And I think Span, you said that if you were you go on the side of placement, right? Like getting those placement points more than kills, right? That's what I think I heard you say a little earlier.
Well, the longer you stay alive, the more opportunity you'll get for those late game fights and kills. So honestly, the
True.
more the more you focus on those placements at the beginning, the more you'll be able to get both. So I guess you can say that I value that placement a bit more because I know that if you're just able to stay it to the end, the kills are going to come because that's the only way you're going to be able to get that chicken dinner is if you take a fight. So.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people here at the start are going to do, right? Just like, yo, let's go for placement, just play it super safe, at least in the first game. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see some teams saying, hey, you know what? We got a lot of nervous players in here. Why don't we drop
Yeah.
edge on these teams that are, not as confident, and let's just rack up those points like crazy earlier. I think I've seen some, high
Yeah.
end teams, like Nova. They've utilized that strategy in the past. So I'm interested to see, which squads are going to really get that going. Get that going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, day one, it gives us the opportunity to see the play style each of these teams are going to have because there is a whole spectrum, I guess we'll say. There is the super passive. We just want to go on ahead and peacefully rotate around the far side of the circle just to get that good placement far away from the majority of the teams. Or, that team that's so aggressive, they're just going to drive at everybody they see, take every single fight. And sometimes they end up dying early. Sometimes they end up being able to stay alive the entire time until that last fight. And day one, it's going to give us an idea of which team is which, and that'll kind of set up our expectations for as PMCO, continues.
I'm pumped up. I'm pumped up to see it here. We got the groups. We got it all going on here. I ain't gonna lie. When I look at all these team names, team that really stands out to me, Taco Lovers, baby. I'm gonna call it right here.
It's so
Taco
cute.
Lovers is taking the whole thing. Okay, they got this thing in the bag already. With that kind of name, it's all over.
I mean, the logo is just adorable as well. So
It's Taco. What can you go wrong with it? You know what I'm saying? They got it. They got their priorities right already. So that's a good sign for me. But obviously, Group A, Group B going down. Like you mentioned, I think Godsent, Wall Street Bets, those are going to be the real two teams that I think we have high expectations to perform here. At the same time, I mean, it's anything can happen here. It's day one.
yeah.
We could see a team that we've never heard of with some new players coming out that have been hungry, grinding in the background, just absolutely shred here at the start. So who knows? Who knows what's going to happen, how we're going to start this off?
The possibility is high. So that's why I say it and then I'm just like, oh man, watch now all these other teams are gonna go on ahead and show me I was wrong the entire time. But like I said, I live for that. I like being proven wrong. So I mean we'll see.
We will see indeed here. So everybody, we are waiting for these players to get loaded up in the lobby and on the plane. A lot of them, are getting those jitters all nice and settled. Hopefully they're all ready, hydrated, and ready to go here. And of course, everybody, thank you for showing up. And thank PUBG Mobile for putting this on. I mean, it's so great, especially with everything crazy that's going on in the world, to be able to just see some insane PUBG Mobile action. For me, there's nothing better to do here, especially on a good Tuesday afternoon. What do you think, Span?
I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. So
That's what I'm talking about.
gotta love watching me some PUBG. Yeah.
Good old games here. Good old games here. Now, what I'm really looking forward to is after today, once we see some of these squads, the ones that are really going to stand out, and some of the players that are going to really stand out. And honestly, I hate to say it, but especially when it comes to PMCO, one factor that I don't think we really talk about is for players that stand out and get a ton of kills, even if they don't qualify necessarily with their team, we see those players get picked up on other teams in other stages, right? I know it's kind of a weird thing to talk about, but it's a big thing. So for all these players, anybody on any team, even if it's a squad that's not going to do too good, this is their chance to, I'm going to say this, just frag out. Like, just get a ton of kills, because if you go in and you're busting down 10 kills a game, regardless if you're not making it, there's going to be some eyes on you for sure. What do you think about that?
I mean, I do not disagree. Yeah, going ahead and try and play it as a team game, though, but definitely it's all playing together as individuals, as a team. I don't know. I know team
Right?
game,
It's like,
but it does
right?
happen.
It's so true.
Yeah, it is. It is true. So hopefully everybody today. I don't know. I always feel bad. I want everybody to do well. I hope everybody will go ahead and give it their all, because then there is that opportunity for individual players, but just a huge opportunity as a whole team to go ahead and qualify to the next round as well. So just good luck, have fun to everyone.
I mean, that's what's so crazy, though. That's why I get so excited, to be honest with you guys, because I think about all these kind of crazy factors that can go into it. Because like you mentioned,
Yeah.
it is a team game. And in my eyes, to see a team to be on top of this, they have to play as a squad. They have to know each other like the back of their hand. They have to feel out, hey, when I say push, I know that all my team behind me is pushing with me. You know, the thing is, though, you may have one of those players that is possibly looking to get signed and just say, I'm going to frag out and do whatever I want. And if they do that, they may be able to frag out and get a ton of kills and get signed by another team, but that could end up causing that squad's demise here. And so, I mean, there's just so many crazy factors when it comes to PMCO.
There are some people that play more as an individual, but the team game, you have to, it's a team game for a reason. Have to be playing as a squad to really be fully effective in this game, in my opinion, and that's how you go on ahead and do well. So today, I already said it, we're looking to see how they're going to play. So we got the gameplay situation, peaceful, aggressive. We got which teams are going to be good at team fights and who's not. The chain team fighting, if they're in a hard situation, they have to fight all their way inside the zone the entire time. And really those small things you just mentioned, you know, are you able to play as a team, or are you more individual? That's kind of what affects those outcomes of those fights. So today it's really going to show us for these teams in A and B who each other are going to be, and we got to keep an eye on it.
Oh, let me ask you this, right? What was that? Okay, we're gonna start the game here soon. I'm excited for that here. I'm gonna ask you this though, Spam, before we get started, right? What do you think is the most toxic thing that will cause like a team's demise? Huh? What do you think? You played COP before, right? So I know that there's automatically a couple things that come to your head. What do you think? What should a player avoid, like above all else? What do you think?
Always blaming others, but not taking blame when it is due. I think that's the worst thing. So team communication, stuff like that when it comes to critiques.
That's huge.
It comes down to communication for me. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, VOD recording, I think, is big too. Because honestly, when you have people just go back and forth, just saying, no, you did this. I told you to push, but you didn't push. I think it's a lot easier to have that recording and say, that you did push, bro. Like, you can see it, you know, rather than just blaming each other. Like, oh man, all that stuff, it just starts to give me chills just thinking about it. But I know a lot of these teams are going to go through it here in a bit. We should be getting started here in the next minute, everybody. So I'll put up, get excited. And of course, we have to give a massive thank you to today's sponsor here of the PUBG Mobile Club Open, OnePlus. You know, with their flagship performance and immersive 120 hertz display and new technology like HyperTouch, built specifically for gamers, the OnePlus 9 and the OnePlus 9 Pro are your best shot to climb the leaderboard. So if you guys get a chance, make sure you pick up one of those new devices. I personally use one myself. I love it. I think you should too. So let's get it going here, man. We're about to get it started. Let's go.
Jumping into the plane on Erangel. Yeah, this is my favorite map, so I'm looking forward to it so much. I want to see the hot drops immediately and the early fights, so we'll see what happens shortly. So
Let's do it. I think I can hear it. I hear the players loading up in the plane. They're ready to get started. And let's get match 1 going here for the PUBG Mobile Club Open Fall Split 2021. Look at that. Got that beautiful OnePlus 9 Pro right up in front here. And looks like we got a nice south to north playing path here to start things off.
I'm very happy about this. Yeah, so it looks like we're starting all the way to the southern side, going up to the north. It looks very central. Yeah, take a look at that. Almost straight down the center of Erangel. And that means all these guys will hopefully be able to reach their usual drop spots, the spot that they like dropping, because then that'll help them later on wherever the first circle pops with their rotations. That also means everybody will probably be able to make it to their usual locations no matter where this circle pops. Probably towards the center. That means everybody might have an equal chance on getting inside the zone, staying alive a little bit longer, and that's going to make the more middle end game a lot more difficult than this early game because it's going to be a little bit nicer for all of them.
Oh, yeah, we're starting to see some teams drop off here quick, and it looks like I'm taking a look right at the middle of the map. You know, Pachinki, which team is going to look to take that center side? Because that really, I think for me, just kind of puts a pin in who is really ready to start things off here. But we do see a squad take military base. They're going to have a ton of loot to start things off. Godsent look to be heading towards shelter. It looks like we got a nice, center circle here, like you mentioned.
Yes, this is nice. It looks like most of the mainland's obviously inside of this zone. That means the two teams that decided to go military island probably going to make their way up to the northern side. Got to watch out for any bridge camping that could potentially happen. And everybody is going to start centering around Pachinki. I don't know if anybody's really going to stay inside of the city at the way beginning, maybe a little on the outskirts of it, because staying in the city early on is usually pretty detrimental, and that a lot of other people can get around you pretty early on. You don't have as much vision. So I assume everybody's going to go ahead and move out of there and start surrounding that big Pachinki area up on top of all those hills. So we're going to have a little bit of a height difference coming to our first fights based off of this zone or the next zone right when everybody has to get closer together.
And we're starting to see some teams drop. We see a couple squads drop into that Milta area there. So they're trying to go ahead and get their loot. But so far, so good. We don't see any kills here. So it looks like teams, really thought this one out. And they did a little bit of spreading out. We got some squads just kind of running up the hills, just trying to find any loot. But we do see our first knock and first kill to start things off. And it's going to be on to Fluffy. R.I.P. Fluffy in the chat.
Unfortunately, yeah, Fluffy's going to go ahead and go down. That means one of these teams is going to have one less person. And it looks like for the Terror, the deed is done. They're going to go ahead and grab the vehicle and continue rotating away past ruins. They want to go ahead and find themselves a little bit of a better spot to loot up before making their way back to the zone.
And you can see the Terror. The Terror are going to be the first squad to pick up some points here on the board. So that is super hype for them. That's going to be able to kind of shake off the nerves a little bit. But we got a minute here at the start. You're going to see some of these teams keeping a really close eye on that clock so they can get these rotations going early. It looks you can see straight out of Nepal. They're going to be going to Watertown up here, trying to find some loot. Oh, and look at this. This is the new update, 1.5 update. Now they got glass breaking here. So I really want to see how that's going to implement here in competitive play.
Yeah, I have to be able to keep an eye on that. I mean, already him jumping through that glass, getting inside that building. I mean, we'll have to see what happens when it comes to fights. So I think that's going to be the main difference, obviously. But we're going to have to wait and see how that's going to come into play. Oh, and it looks like a team is, in fact, already starting to cross the bridge. They're not a gaming. They don't want to stay down in military for too long, making their way out. It looks like Rolfino's actually listening to a little bit of jams in that vehicle as he's making his way on up. They don't want to get bridge camp, so why not just send it on over immediately? We can see an enemy in the distance, so they're going to have to be conscious about that. But for right now, they're still okay. And looting, there we go. Looks like Butcher is actually in the warehouse just to their north. So he's going to have to be careful. I don't know where the rest of his team is, but he does not want to be caught out alone.
Interesting to see here. And Ornata Gaming, they have Shady in there, who's a really good player. I personally played with him multiple times in the past, so I'm looking forward to see how he's going to perform here. Now, I did get a chance to talk to him a little bit before we got started here today, and he did say that this is a new team, super new. He only joined it a week ago. So it's going to be interesting to see how they're able to perform and be able to get that going. I mean, with not a lot of synergy, it is going to be tough, but I'm sure that, you know, this squad isn't the only team that's in that kind of same boat.
As long as they, really have clear communication, hopefully it'll be fine going into these few games that they are so new in. So we'll be able to see. Right when they get in that first fight, we'll see how they'll be able to perform. But right now, everybody in that looting phase, starting to make their rotations. Looks like Better Than You will start getting away from our Ornado Gaming team by the bridge. And I mean, we're going to see this for the next couple of minutes as well. But it looks like they're going to be able to start making a movement now. And thinking about the newness for some of these teams, I will also say that making this first rotation, I always keep an eye on who moves first, because I usually feel like that is a good mark to see who likes playing more of that macro play, the placement points.
Definitely. You cannot be scared to rotate. You have to, the second you see that zone shift, you got to get moving quickly. And you're right. It's huge, right? If you have a squad who decides to hesitate and just, we'll move on later, they could lose out on a potentially a really good spot, and they'll get taken out really quickly. So you got to have that confidence.
Yeah, gotta be careful going into it as well. So gotta have that confidence, gonna go ahead and do well. Can't go in here thinking anything negative. That's already gonna go ahead and set you back. I feel like it's all about mentality, right? If you're a little bit worried about it, scared, that's exactly how you're gonna go ahead and perform. If you're confident, if you really got that fire inside of you and you're feeling it, you're gonna go ahead and knock it out of the park. So and hopefully all these guys, I mean, look, actually, we're expecting the perfect people to be talking about that. Their name are Vibes. They got that good vibes going. They're going to end up doing well. And we can see, actually, a lot of teams right next to each other now. Right above them is Godson, and even another team making a rotation right in front of them. Seems like everybody really is starting to make that centering around Pachinki, like we mentioned earlier.
That's Godsent. That's the team that we're going to be keeping a close eye on. You can see how tight they're staying together. We're starting to see, and one thing I really like to see is we're seeing pretty much almost every team utilize that 4-car strat. So they're all picking up individual vehicles. They're all rotating together. So far, so good. You can see 6 elites hiding that beautiful vehicle right in there inside of that garage. And they're gonna park themselves right here. And look at that McLaren going around. Well, it looks like Oladar's just trying to find, some spots, trying to catch somebody on the movement side here. Godsent doing some trades as well. It's always good to see.
Yeah, going ahead and spread out that loot, make sure everybody has the same amount of util, anything else they would need. Other teams going on ahead, sending a little bit further inside the zone, getting on top of these mountains, really going to provide an opportunity for at least one member of all these teams to start scouting on in. This is vital information. Start figuring out where those enemy teams are really starting to set up. Don't want to make any rotation blind or any crash blind, because that could go on ahead and, hit the nail in the coffin, basically. If you crash onto a compound that has a full team on it, that could just spell disaster. So now it's really important to get yourself a good spot and start 100% paying attention to your surrounding. And it looks like Godsent already spotted out another team just for fun up to their northern side. They're definitely going to be keeping an eye on each other while they're making these rotations. And all of that information, like I said, is super important later on, especially as the zone gets smaller and smaller.
I heard that bolt action go off. Yeah, it looks like Jag. He's going to have that Mosin here with an 8X. So, I mean, he found the good stuff. So they're pretty well set up. And he's trying to peek some heads, take some armor off. Of course, it's going to be really tough to get a thirst from this kind of distance. But, I mean, he's popping them shots off, letting people know, hey, we're here. Don't come close. Stay where you're at.
Yeah, 6 elites are going to have to play a little bit inside of their building, make sure they don't get popped. And it looks like maybe they don't have to move unless they want to get a little bit more central, because the zone is actually going to center around Pachinki once again. I'm kind of starting to question if we're going to have a city ending straight away on game 1. And city endings are very difficult. Once you get inside of a city, so many teams can shove themselves inside of there, and it'll become a much more difficult situation when it comes to fights. But we'll talk about that later if it does become a city ending. But for right now, everybody is going to have to condense a little bit closer around Pachinki. I'm kind of curious to see who's going to start dipping inside of that city first and who's going to continue to stay outside of it. 'Cause it's once you're inside of it, it's kind of difficult to leave. But if you're in there first, you could potentially profit off it huge.
Well, looks like these teams have definitely put in some work, because I'm going to be honest with you. Out of all the PMCOs that I've cast in the past, I've never seen so many teams rotate so quickly on a circle change. So, I mean, really, like these guys are on point here to start things off. Now, obviously, when we get to the later stages, you have to be ridiculously quick. But I love to see how evenly these squads are rotating. And, you know, for Team GT, they don't got to do nothing. I mean, they've been chilling over there in Pachinki. So they're going to be holding that down. And, of course, you know, like you mentioned, if that city finish happens, oh, that's going to be fun. But, oh, look at this. The Terror slowly creeping up on Immortal NA. Are they going to be able to get that spot off?
I don't know. It looks like they actually have a nice split for right now. Two of them at those buildings a little bit further over towards the western side. The other two directly up front. Oh, it looks like they're coming closer. Okay, so the Terror wants a piece of this. It looks like they have one of their teammates, Poppy Kevin, actually kind of playing a little bit of a spoiler position right on that ridge, waiting for if anybody comes close, he's just going to be able to pop on up and be really aggressive and hurt them a lot. And yeah, I guess that's just the position he wants to play. He wants to be a little bit careful, play those audio cues. It looks like Gil is trying to scout it out first before moving closer. Ooh,
yeah, from Poppy's position, he can't use that. He can't three-peek that from that angle. So like you mentioned, he's going to have to use purely audio cues. But if a team decides to full send it on it, I mean, that could be a really, really good spot to kind of hold down. But we'll have to see how it plays out. You can see Gil, he spotted them. He knows for a fact that there's a team here, and here comes the full send. Oh my goodness, Midnight, and just like I called it, look at that. Poppy Kevin from the side gets a nice headshot, nice angle, and opens up this fight so well. So the Terror are gonna lose two really quickly, and I don't think there's no way they're saving them.
Yeah, that was a great spoiler position. Like I said, he was playing that off angle perfectly, able to stand on up and really hurt Terror right when they needed to. And now there's only two left. It looks like Immortal NA are actually going to go on ahead and jump into action. They know there's only two left, a little bit further to the north, and they're actually starting to push potentially, starting off with some nades. I wonder if they're going to go closer while the rest of the Terror are just trying to escape, actually. They want placement points.
So there you go. Going to get the thirst right there. And like you mentioned, they got the 2 kills. They know the other 2 players are on the run. And man, yeah, the Terror, they just hightailed it on out of there. Next circle, about to shift. Where is it going to head to? Looks like it's going to go down south. So a nice little shift here. The Terror, of course, IMS, they're going to have to get moving.
I'm really excited to see how Vibes is actually going to play this. You can see that they're in that compound just off center and to the north. It's in a tiny bit of a bowl, but it's actually really difficult to crash onto. So I feel like Vibes is a really strong position for right now to be staying alive a bit longer into that late game. I'm just kind of curious to see if they're going to be able to pick up that many kills or anything, any sort of fights around them, except if somebody crashes onto them. And how exactly they're going to continue to play that. But, of course, everybody else not inside of the zone are going to instantly start driving. That northwestern side of this circle is going to be really, really full of people. And it looks like some guys are already setting up to take the fight. And actually, wait a second. Godsent took out a member of 6.
Looks like he just tried to go and scout this out. And Godsent was already here saying, yep. We got this building nice and locked down, so one member of 6 is going to get taken out. The other 3 are going to be right here at these warehouses. We did see Wall Street Bets holding down Potato Hill. Jag getting a couple shots onto him. Oh, he's got to really watch out for those angles. Looks like he's getting pieced up from 2 different spots, but he does have that bolt action, so you know he's going to try and peek something here soon. Godsent, so far so good. And it looks like everybody's just going to kind of hunker down here. It's only circle 3. And so they're centered up, and I think they're just going to wait it out for now.
Yeah, this is the zone where you really have the IGLs at least have a little bit more of a better idea of where they think this end zone is gonna go. Usually, it looks like this one though isn't giving too many hints. Definitely around that hill though of Pachinki. Again, these two compounds are a great spot to be in. That it's difficult to crash onto. No one will probably really want to, unless for now. It would have happened immediately. That's why we saw that altercation right at the beginning. But now they're basically safe. We can see that there are a bunch of teams up above them, and now they're just going to be able to focus on trying to get these kills. That's also the nice thing. It's out in the open, so it's hard to crash, and it's out in the open that you really are going to be able to have visibility on anybody, anything that's happening around you, rotations, any other sort of fight. We'll see if they'll be able to pick anything up, but for now, it's still seeming like a pretty quiet game. I'm kind of surprised.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like everybody's really respecting themselves. Obviously, we saw a few players kind of do it. Like, I think that initial push that we saw a little earlier on, I think that was a little too spontaneous. I think they should have waited for at least a knock before they decided to send it in there like that. But they did, and they got punished really quickly for it. So, hey, lesson learned. They do still have 2 members alive, and anything can happen. They're in Pachinki at the edge of the circle. The zone comes this way. Could be really good for them.
They could still get themselves some placement points, and honestly, that's the good thing. Any points you're able to pick up in a single game is obviously worth it. Want to go on ahead and average maybe like 8 points per game to really stay inside of it, to really continue up towards that top side of leaderboard, the left side of leaderboard, and it looks like our next zone has actually popped, pulling back a bit towards Pachinki, but it is in fact going to be ending around on top of that hill. So honestly, those teams inside of the buildings again are going to be able to stay safe for now, let everybody else fight along the outskirts out in the open, and then they were going to have to start slowly moving on in with this next zone. But right now, everybody's just sending it to try and grab those good spots out in open first.
A lot of hill area here. I mean, we see a lot of open field, but there's only a few bowls and a lot of it's going to be tough. We're going to see some vehicles have to come up and some car walls set up. Looks like University are going to do exactly that. Some nice shots through the smoke. They do get some hit markers here. Nice nade going back and forth here. The UMP coming out hot. And I'll tell you what, after this recent update, that UMP is not to be messed with. I think it's one of the best CQC guns in the game right now.
I don't disagree. So not surprised to actually see that in play right now. I have to see if it actually comes a little bit more direct in this fight. It looks like one of the knocks onto University coming through. Gonna have to be careful and get that res. They're almost gonna knock on a featuring, but oh my goodness, we actually, if we take a look at that minimap, there's so many people. It looks like Revel, a couple members from Sun are starting to try and get involved and take advantage of this.
Yeah, and well, straight out of Nepal. They tried to take advantage of it, but it didn't work out for them. They got shut down really quickly. University here, they are just throwing down smoke, surviving, and they're playing really well together as a group. So they are. If they get a couple of knocks, especially here onto Trixie Boy, he's holding off this off angle. If he gets knocked, he's not getting picked back up. So he's got to play it very carefully from that spot. Oh, it's so tough.
Yeah, so if he gets knocked and picked up, he doesn't have any meds either. Honestly, that's a perfect position. If he stands up, he could go here at University, but since he's so low, I don't think he can do much. So it's really down to his other teammates, and yeah, you're right, nice knock. Oh!
Trixie! Beautiful shot there. Oh, and he's got an angle, gets 2. Only 1 left. They have to full send this. They've been getting some serious knocks. He's going to go for the vehicle explosion to try to be able to get that confirmed. Every point is so huge. He's going to be able to get one of them. Trixie Boy with a beautiful laydown play. And like you mentioned, no meds, getting some serious points for his squad. And I believe it's only 1 member up for University. Is he going to be able to hold down? Is he going to get that res? He's going for it. Oh, a beautiful shot.
Yeah, and a whole nother team is now shooting in the smokes. They know that there's knocks in there. They want them for themselves. So the solo for the Terrors trying to take some shots. And it looks like they actually have to stop because of that whole nother team up on top of the hill. But Trixie, he's continuing to go at it. No way. He took out all of University by himself.
And they had an angle on him, but Trixie just too quick with that lay down spray. Beautifully well executed. And he's by himself. No meds. What well played. Right there. I mean, beautifully executed. Next circle about to come on up. Who is going to get blessed? This is going to be a big one.
I mean, at this point, this circle is much too small to hold everybody. So this next one, oh my goodness, it's actually going to go ahead and
Okay.
only help out one team or not a gaming. Otherwise, it's completely out in the open. Everybody is going to start making a push on in, and a lot of fighting is going to happen along the edges of this new zone. They can't move without taking out their neighbors, and that's what we're seeing here. Godsend versus 6 elites.
And they need to get this done quick. I mean, there's only 28 seconds left on the clock here. They're going to try to go for this res. You can see a vehicle come out. They have to either send it on 6 elites or try and drive past them. I'm going to be honest with you. Try to make that drive, good luck. So you can see them with the smokes. They're getting pieced up by Wall Street Bets from the side. King A getting a beautiful headshot from across the way. And now here comes Papa Blue Zone. Godsend just getting punished right now.
It's not looking too good, and now Trey is inside the building trying to hold off the rest of them. Uh-oh, there it goes to Util. Wait a second. What was that? Yeah, I think it might have been a nade. It was.
You know, he was.
It looks
you know,
like Godsend
screaming at the top of his lungs.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, but he got, okay. You know, one bad
Nice.
nade, and he came in with a hot one to get a beautiful knock there onto Clay. Now you got Jason and Jeff up on top here, but Godsend, they're just stuck in a decision here. Do we just try and head towards circle, or do we go for these finishes? They have to make a decision fast, just for fun, just to eliminate it as well. And it looks like they're going to send it on over. Oh, but the tires are blown off of that McLaren. So they're going to have to hold it down. Tough break for Godsend.
Honestly, they need to finish this fight as fast as possible and get up the hill, because as we can already see, they're being held out already. They need to make this happen much faster. Unfortunately, a ton of nades are starting to take each other out, but they need to go ahead and clean this out, either of these teams, if they're hoping to actually make it inside this next zone, because very shortly, these circles are really going to start hurting that blue zone, and they can't continue to wait here. There we go. Speaking of blue zone, they're now fully inside of it.
I'll tell you what, Godsend so far, okay, they're going to finally pick up some kills, so that's going to be 3 in total for Godsend, but they got to get moving, and he realizes those vehicles, they're no good. You got to make a run for it. King A is up on top of the hill looking straight down, so Salt, oh, you can see him trying to hit those crouches, and it's just Trey left. Not looking good for Godsend.
Not at all. I mean, it would have obviously moved them in faster, and it would have been some nice hard cover for them. It looks like a whole nother team is going to be out, though, featuring. We're starting to take a look around. We knew this was basically the kill zone. Not everybody was going to be able to fit, and that's why you see that kill feed absolutely going nuts. And now we just have 9 teams left, and very shortly we'll hopefully start seeing this calm down. For right now, just take a look at this. Just so many teams right on top of each other, just trying to survive in this situation. Honestly, I like what HT is doing right now. They have a 2-2 split up to the north and south. Just hopefully they're not spread too thin as they're taking 2 different fights.
Well, I don't see it calming down for very long. Right now, to start things off, GT Esports, they are crushing it. 7 kills in total. They're going to be your kill leaders here for game number 1 to start things off. HTV Esports right behind them with 6. Better Than You with 5 as well. All having 4 teams remaining. Oh, beautiful shot there from HTV Esports. Nice play. So that side's going to be completely clear, but they got to keep a close eye here as there's tons of snakes in the grass looking to strike, and they got to get moving slowly into the circles on the edge. 13 seconds remaining. And you can see Vurex, I mean, he is holding really, really close to that bush, trying to get as much cover as he can get. Oh, here comes the send, though. Here come the vehicles.
Boom wants it. Oh, but Boom doesn't want to risk it, I think. Oh, but he ran into a rock instead. You know, he's trying to scout out with that buggy. Unfortunately, couldn't quite spot him, so I think he might be a little bit safer now. But wait, there's somebody coming up from behind them.
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say that was a tactical crash, not a spin out. And we'll see right now if Vurex is going to be able to get these shots as we see some P teams just full sending it desperately, trying to get their way to the zone. Boom, standing up with that AK iron sight. Does get 1 knock, 7 kills in total for them, and you can just see all the rest of the teams that are only rocking 1 member just slowly crawling their way, trying to get some placement.
I mean, at this point, not surprised to see that other team go out there trying to drive around, find a place to play. Looks like GT Esports, the team that had the most kills, are unfortunately going to be eliminated as well. So it looks like they're aggressive, but that placement point's just not quite working for them. We have 7 teams left now. This is really where those important things happen, but oh my gosh, Shady goes down. Nice Molotovs coming through from a member of Okavi. They want to stay alive. It looks like Rick's the last one here, just slowly crawling, and of course HTV is also in front of him, and he's going to be caught on fire himself as well. A little bit of karma situation seems.
The Mollies coming out hot here in the late game, and we get to see those single members are just playing spoilers to a lot of these squads, being really troublesome. But you got to play this really carefully. Here comes some smokes coming support from their teammates, trying to get that res off. I mean, right now, we're starting to see some squads really putting some good kills. Trey from Godsent currently leading with 3 kills by himself. But man, look how many squads. We got 4 teams all just piled up, smoking, snaking their way in. Boom. Busting out that AK. 9 kills in total for HTV Esports. This is a great game for them to start things off.
Yeah, they ran out of that Eastern compound. Was huge. Nice shots coming through from him, too. What?
Boom.
Was that 2 and 1? It was. We're down
See
to 4.
ya, though. They get knocked by Wall Street Bets here on the side. Godsent going down. Oh, what a beautiful shot, though. HTV are holding this down really, really well. You can see him going with that nade instantly to try and get that finish. He might pick up both of them here. Nice little bounce. Not quite close enough. Steve-O going for the tough revive. And I think HTV are going to send this. And yes, they are. Here comes Boom with the CQC. And he's going to shut them down. Boom. Putting in work here to start things off. 12 kills for HTV.
And all of them are still alive, but better than you, as we can see, is just 1 man down. So a 3v4. We're going to have to see how that comes through when it comes to trades, because, I mean, as of right now, just based off numbers, HTV Esports should have that advantage, but better than you, that means they have to get a knock as soon as possible, because otherwise, if they're just getting a full-on fight right now, HTV should win. But we'll see. It looks like Drac is kind of hiding up behind a crate. That means he got himself some fresh gear, maybe a cool gun, and some cover as well. If they get too close, he might be able to mow one down, and then it'll be back to an equal level playing field these guys could go ahead and work with. Also looks like they're both just on the edges of these zones to the west and east, so they really are more on the even side, except better than you, a little bit higher up in terms of terrain on the north.
Oh my goodness, man. There's only 2 teams left remaining. Just like that. I mean, the snap happened, and we saw so many squads get wiped out. Wall Street Bets ended the game in 3rd place with 13 kills. And Godsent in 4th with 13 as well. So we definitely saw some teams pick up some huge kill points. Nice nades coming from across. And that nade there for better than you, it's going to even it up. They're going to pick up 2 with just nades. What? I mean, the utility plays coming up so big. They just got to play this up. They got to play their cards right here. They can turn this around on HTV easily.
I mean, these are the knocks that we were talking about. He needed to get them. Oh, angry. Oh.
The trades coming back and forth. Better than you. Here comes Menace. Just spinning around 360. Just trying to get some spots. Here comes Boom, though. Boom has been a wrecking ball in the late game. And you can see him snaking it out. Oh, but it's just him now. And they're going to spot him out. And wow, what a finish to start things off. Better than you. Getting the first chicken dinner here in the PMCO Fall Split. What are your thoughts on the first game span? What really stood out to you?
They ended up playing that really well. That's all I can really say. I mean, they had to go on ahead and make a really difficult rotation right when that kill zone happened, that phase 3. Everybody was on the edges, but they were still able to keep all 4 of their members up, and that's probably what went on ahead and really helped them out, continuing to fight their way on inside that zone. And even when they had 3 people left, those huge nades, I said they only needed 1, but no, they got 2. And that just went on ahead, and I think those nades were just perfect. That won it for them. Yeah.
Oh man, from downtown. I mean, you couldn't ask to have a more clutch time than that. I mean, to be able to be down a member and get a 2-piece like that to start things off, that was huge. And I gotta be honest, I gotta give it to Boom. Boom was crushing it in that late game, getting a ton of kills, but just not strong enough to get that chicken dinner. Regardless, I mean, you can't complain. I mean, to get a 2nd place finish with that many kills to start this off, I mean, I think that they are already kind of wiping their hands. I mean, that's a great way to start. That's for sure.
There's a lot of other teams who ended up doing really well as well, and we'll be able to take a look at that with the match standings. I mean, we already kind of talked about it actually while we were watching. A lot of these teams got so many kill points, and that is here. Better Than You, of course, going to be at the top with the 15 placement points because of the chicken, 13 kill points, giving them a total of 28. And honestly, HTV not too far behind with 24.
I mean, we just see the difference in strategies right off the bat, right? Better Than You, I mean, getting best of both worlds, right? Let's get a ton of kills and the first place chicken dinner. They did a great job. Wall Street Bets, you can see them with 10 placement points, 3 kills. I look down though, 5th place. You know, you see GT Sports 1 placement point, but they had 7 kills, and that puts them in 5th. I mean, this game, these leaderboards are going to be flying up and down, I think, throughout the entire day. But to start things off, Better Than You, they were better than you. Like, I mean, they really were to start things off. I mean, that's a fact. And then, of course, HTV Esports are really, really setting themselves up well as we move on to page number 2.
It looks like these guys unfortunately didn't get the best game ahead of them. So we can see at the very top Vibes and they in 9th, only getting 2 and 2 with a total of 4. We can see then 2 more teams with 4 featuring Terror, then 2 and 1 for 6 Elites in University. They got in a fight super early on that I think ended up really just not working out for them whatsoever. Their spots a little bit too far out in the open, and just for fun, straight out of Nepal, very much being caught out much too early and much too easily, going to be taken out with 0 points for each other. That's obviously not the best start that these teams wanted, but luckily they still have 3 games left. This was only match 1. Hopefully they're able to shake it off and just start anew coming into this next one, but they have a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah, they sure do. But I mean, you can't go wrong with a name like Just for Fun, right? I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, having fun, putting in the work. I did see the Terror. They had, I think, 4 points in total. And I think it all started going downhill from them on that kind of insane push without a knock, anything. They just put it up on there, and that off angle, oh, that was brutal. They got them 2 knocks from them, and, you know, they try to do the best they could, only able to pull out 4 points. And it just goes to show you one little mistake at this high level, and it's just disaster for your squad.
Right when you get down to 2 people as well, it's an entirely different situation to play out of. So losing that super early and playing as a 2-man the rest of the time, definitely not ideal. But going into this next game, they'll be back to that 4 up. And it looks like Jukes are about to be jumping into a short break before that next game. So looking forward to see what's going to happen over on Sanhok. But we will be right back after a short break.
The OnePlus 9 Pro.
The OnePlus 9 Pro. Oh my god, this phone feels incredible. The best processor, 120 hertz, 12 gigs of RAM, and a Hasselblad camera. What more could you want?
The hyper touch on this bad boy is phenomenal.
The best model of OnePlus phone I have used to date.
Hello, everyone. We are back for PUBG Mobile Club Open A versus B, and I am Span Cargo, and you guys can see that with me is Mustache Dave, joining me for game 2 of Sanhok. So, Dave, how are you?
Doing good. Game one, pretty exciting. What better
Yeah.
than you? 13 kills. Not gonna lie, I didn't expect a team here in PMCO game one to get that many kills. To me, that just shows confidence from them and good things coming on their side of things.
Yeah, it looks like there is, in fact, going to be a team kind of being on our radar in this situation, as we were talking about between me and Jukes earlier. So it looks like better than you going to be running away with game 1. I'm kind of curious to see what's going to happen coming into game 2 with them.
I'm looking at better than you, of course, because they have the official first chicken dinner here for the PMCO NA fall 2021. But some teams that I was looking at least in this group, that a lot of people were telling me Immortal, I don't know what happened to them. I saw the scoreboard, not a lot of points. People were telling me, Dave, watch out for this team. And I was looking at some scrims, some other tournaments that they've been practicing in as well. They've been popping off. This last game, maybe those nerves got to them just a little bit. And I think that's going to be a story pretty much, at least for the first 2 days, right? These teams, some of these players brand new to this level of competitive play, they got those nerves, and they just need to keep those nerves in check, because honestly, if you're one of those players, this is like the biggest moment in your career. This is that do or die moment where you could make it to PNPL, where it's really life-changing. So I get it. The first couple games, those nerves, the tensions, they're going to be high.
A little bit shaky. That's kind of what you expect on day 1, but then slowly you'll be able to go on ahead and solidify, get a little bit more confident, know what they have to do. It's like, okay, we need these points, or we need to keep these points, and it gets a little bit more difficult. So yeah, on day 1, it's always interesting to see if anybody will be able to go on ahead and do really well because of the pressure that they are under. And already we know better for you going on ahead and doing really well. I will say that there is a team not too far away from them as well. So, and Sanhok honestly is a completely different game, though, coming into this.
Sanhok is just a big bowl of spaghetti, and you just throw whatever type of sauce you want in that bad boy. And one thing that's real interesting, just to add to the chaos of Sanhok, has to be just the fact that, one, this is PMCO, and two, the rotating lobbies. Today we got groups A and B, tomorrow C and D, the next day A and C. So these groups, they really have to put in that extra time to really study their opponents and kind of like pinpoint where they might be on their rotates, their drop spots. That extra factor, it could be the downfall to a lot of teams here.
It could be. You have to get used to every single person, because if you're not used to somebody's rotation or somebody's drop, if you don't react where somebody goes, that could obviously be the thing that takes you out early. And at a certain point, every single one of these games are going to be super important. You have to do one in every single one. You are allowed to have 1 or 2 bad games, but otherwise you really have to be consistent with points or absolutely knock it out of the park and do really well. So you got to keep all of that in mind while going through all these games. It's kind of like a little bit of a juggling act. Got to be careful going through it.
I'll agree with you on this one. Only 2 though. You got 2 games that you can throw away and get the goose egg, the 0 points, because each group, they only play 11 games in total over the course of the 6 days. So there's not a lot of room. Yeah, the goal, top 16. Okay, you hear that, you're like, oh, that's definitely doable. But we're going to be slicing half the lobby. We got, 32 teams right now? We're going to be taking the karate chop right to the lobby. So top 16, that's the goal. 12 games per group. I agree with you, though. Throwaway games, the goose egg, I think
Only be like 2.
maximum has to be 2. 2 games, 0 points. After that, you got to buckle down, make sure you get that consistency going and get at least some kill points every game.
Yeah, at that point, you really got to turn on. It's a little bit of hustle time. Can't do bad whatsoever. You can't just continue to be consistent. That's why it's like you have to do well every single game, at least consistent, because if you do have those really bad games, then that just means the next game you're going to have to do better, make up for it and more. So, and that obviously is much more difficult. So that's why I keep talking about consistency, consistency, consistency. But it is just so important. I just got to go on ahead and make sure everybody knows that seriously, only 2 games you can do bad, and everything else, everybody really has to at least be consistent to go on ahead and be in the top 16 to move on.
Oh man, we're just talking general here. We're talking the tournament as a whole. I see the chat though. Team OP, they're playing tomorrow. A ton of support for Team OP. Oh. They're in Group D. So be aware of that just in case you are tuning in hoping to see them. I heard Juke said Team Taco Lovers is the squad that they're going for. I didn't catch what team you're going for. What team are you think is taking it all?
Honestly, I didn't give an answer to that. He didn't ask, and I happily didn't answer because I'm not quite sure. But if I had to go on ahead and choose one, I'm a little bit interested to see what Self-Made is going to do because of the name. Honestly, it's kind of the same reason for like Better For You's name. I guess kind of that. It's like, the people that choose that like cheeky name, like, yeah, we're better than you. We're self-made. We're good. Like, I want to see if they're going to be able to make it. So I'm going to choose those guys with those names because you got to make it.
All right, so we got Self-Made. You got Self-Made for Span Cargo. We got Taco Lovers for Jukes. The chat, they're saying Team OP.
Yeah, they're.
I think Dave. There's so many teams, so many players that I'm really looking forward to. But if I had to pick one that I'm kind of confident, I'm going to say, without putting too much pressure on them, it has to be Ornata. Jukes kind of touched on this earlier. Speaking of Shady, I'm looking at Shady as well. Like, this is a player, to me, reminds me of the hype and the talk of the town, I guess you could say, that we saw last PMCO in NA with Coops. And if you're not aware, like, Coops was in PMCO, brand new to the scene, slayed on their team. The team didn't qualify, but then Coops, they got picked up for PMPL, and talk about just strapping on that backpack, man. Coops made a name for themselves. So most cheering for these new players just breaking into the scene. So I'm looking forward to seeing Shady's performance here in this PMCO.
Okay, well, I guess we all have our choices. So some of them are coming tomorrow, but you actually chose somebody that's today. So we got to see how Anata is going to continue to be able to play today coming into these next few. Because after that last game, my memory is terrible. What place did they get? we'll see. They didn't get in the top 2 spots, but...
That's the throwaway game. All right, that's at least one. All right, they got one more to go. And we are waiting for the players to get in the lobby just in case some people in the chat saying start the game. No, this isn't a podcast. It's just us waiting for all the players to get into the game. Even if you want this to be a podcast, well, you're welcome. This is a nice one, by the way. We're looking forward to, though. Sanhok, Span Cargo. Like, what do you want to see from this map?
Sanhok, whenever I think of that map, this is the map or just the word aggression pops into my mind because this is a map, it's so small, 4x4 map, everybody drops right on top of each other almost immediately. There's no space to really have room from each other, and it's also so dense and foliage that you could just go over a hill and be on top of an entire other team. So this is the map where the fighting, that team fights, the chain fighting, the ability to just do all of that is super vital and important to be able to do well. So that's why I'm looking forward on this map.
So we're talking Sanhok. I'm thinking bootcamp. What squad here? Group A and B. Maybe even 2 teams. We've seen a lot in the past in other lobbies. It's a popular spot. So we might see 2 teams drop there. Well, that will be spicy. But ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, with flagship performance and an immersive 120 hertz display technology made specifically for gamers like HyperTouch, the OnePlus 9 and 9 Pro, it's your best choice for climbing up those leaderboards. So big shout out to OnePlus, the sponsor here for PUBG Mobile Club Open Fall Split. Span Cargo, though, I believe the players, they're almost loaded up. They're putting their seatbelts on. They're in the plane. they're getting nervous here. Sanhok is about to happen.
Yep, getting their parachutes on and ready to jump out of the plane. I mean, you already said it. Who's going to go boot camp? I mean, we only had one team go Pachinki last time, so maybe we're not going to have too many people going ahead and put on their big boy pants, jump onto that really scary location that we used to see. But I already said it, like, this map is so much smaller and these guys aren't used to playing together that it might just happen. I'm honestly surprised that there wasn't a hot drop that last game. So coming into this next one, I kind of expect it more because of Sanhok being Sanhok, but also fully depends on the playing path as well.
And all of that, we saw last game Better Than You and HTV, 13 kills, 12 kills. They are a aggressive squad. So looking at Sanhok, that aggression could definitely pay off, especially early game. So I'm curious to see if they can kind of move into this next game with that momentum and just keep carrying that torch to maintain their spot on the overall leaderboard.
That's kind of what I'm expecting as of right now. That's the knowledge that we have on those teams. I want to see if they're going to be able to continue to play it that way. And we are about to find out. It sounds like we are in the plane. The pilot's giving us the okay. And let's get this party rolling, Dave, because we're about to be jumping into the jungle.
Let's get it going. Game number 2 here. PMCO Fall 2021. You're watching North America. Groups A versus Groups B. Now, both groups, 11 more games to go here for the group stage. So there is a lot on the line as we are going to be checking out the plane here, Span.
Honestly, it's not as good as our Erangel one because it went straight down the middle of the map. This one is far up in that northeastern corner, but I did mention Sanhok is so small, only a 4x4, that everybody should still really be able to extend all the way to the furthest reaches of this map to wherever their usual drop is, and it actually looks like they have to continue that direction because our first circle decided to go completely the opposite direction to the southwest.
What a nasty circle. Yeah. Number 1 here for a lot of these teams up there to that north, to that northeast, and even the east in general. It's going to be a challenge, honestly. It's going to be a challenge. One team that I'm looking here that not going to be too much of a challenge, or not, down there towards the south. They're going to have to be mindful, though, right? God Sent, we saw last game pretty consistent with their placement points. They're going to need to make sure not to get caught off guard with them. But yeah, the circle one, I counted at least maybe 7, if that's a fair number, 7 teams that are not in it.
No, I mean, that's what the plane path was as well, right? So a ton of people are going to be coming from that northern side and the eastern side of this circle. And that's really where I think a lot of the conflicts are going to start because everybody is going to be trying to rotate in that same spot. And Sanhok is so small that not that many people are going to be able to do so without spotting somebody out. So there's going to be fighting somewhere to the north or to the eastern side. Meanwhile, those other teams that did try and go super far away, I believe I saw 6 Elites, Wall Street Bets, and like 2 other teams you'd already pointed out are not a gaming down there towards Charlie. I think those teams are obviously going to be okay, but everybody else that decided to stay up towards that northeastern side, they're in it for a little bit of a fight if they run into each other.
Hey, we'll see what they can do. Immortal, that's one of the teams that I'm looking for here. Currently in 9th place, just looking at their game 1 results. They got 4 kills and 1 placement points there. So they're definitely looking to make that bounce back, that clap back. But Kevin already out here with that disco ball skin, that OG skin, no helmet. Needs to make sure not to get caught off guard. Fortunate, though, for Kevin. I'm looking over there at Jag. Jag kind of passive themselves as it looks like God Sent somewhat separated for the time being.
A little bit worried there. We saw that he wasn't fully looted up, doesn't have a helmet, no vest. He does have meds, a backpack at least, and a gun, but that armor, he could just go ahead and be breathed on, be taken down. A little bit worrying situation, but it looks like he will be able to start making a rotation away, put the gun away, starting to absolutely make a run for it. Back up towards Hatin. Looks like we got Better Than You, our previous game winners. So we obviously have high expectations for these guys. Looks like they have entire control of this far northern side, actually, and other than their teammates a little bit further towards the west. That means we're probably going to see them be making a far northern rotation inside of this first circle. And if they stay over to the west, I'm sure they may be able to stay out of the line of fire, maybe not having to run into too many people.
13 kills, too. 13 kills. That is, that's amazing for a game number one. And they did it. They kept 3 alive towards the late game. So they made sure to keep their number strong and use it to their advantage towards the end there. So important, especially here with these rotating lobbies and the challenge of just making sure that your squad mates don't get picked out on their rotates. So that will be the first place squad. And here's the second place squad, HTV. 12 kills last game.
Yeah, they did so well. I wasn't quite sure who was going to win going into the end. You know, I said it, I mean, I feel like they both were kind of on even footing. The only difference was that Better Than You had 3 people, HTV Esports had 4, and just based off of basic traits, if they're just getting an even full-on team fight, HTV could have taken that away, but those huge nades coming from Better Than You, being able to get 2 knocks, took HTV Esports down. They didn't win that game, but they did have a good opportunity too. So knowing that Better Than You was able to go ahead and grab that, I mean, obviously HTV Esports has that huge potential, that game-winning potential. Just maybe they're Kryptonite's nades as of right now.
Yeah, you could show up late game with grenades, but you need to know how to use those grenades, and that is what they showed us there with that 2-piece. And that 2-piece just it turned the tides. It definitely did. So we're just getting a nice little, aerial view scout of the map here. Game number 2, 16 teams right now, straight out of Nepal. I believe they were the first team taken out last game. They got the goose egg, 0 points on the overall leaderboards. Now, they might have 0 points, but they got that fresh McLaren over there, I believe. Might have received some shots. So you got to make sure to keep your tires safe and secure. But yeah, pretty much everybody just kind of trying to rotate now, find a nice spot. They did get their loot as we're about 6 minutes in this game.
Looks like the 6 elites just turned right around because Arnada is about to run straight into GT Esport NA. They heard some shots and they don't want to be a part of it just yet. Arnada is probably running straight into an ambush here. I think they're at the top of this hill. That is a pretty good scouting point. Oh.
Oh, Ralph. Looks like they're going off on that split over there, the 3-1 split. They were suspicious that there might be somebody up here, but caught off guard, toss that smoke. That grenade is gonna be money. Ornata losing Ralph. The IGL, by the way. It's gonna put them in a pickle here. Fortunate for them, though, GT, they don't look like they're taking advantage of this knock as of right now. They're trying to gather some more intel. Ornata just kind of pinned back into their compound, trying to come up with some type of game plan. And there goes Ralph.
Well, I can see the rest of GT. Yeah, I can see the rest of GT actually super far to the eastern side, probably not being aggressive just yet in a big 2-2 split. But kind of curious if right when the other two get there, are they going to be being on the offensive here? Kind of wondering with that. I think they're slowly coming up.
I think if Ornata had the intel that there was only a duo here from GT keeping them pinned down, they might have used some utility, maybe a smoke, trying to pick up Ralph. But like you mentioned, here comes the other 2 squad mates from GT rolling up here to possibly take that fight a little further.
And here's even more rotations into each other. We knew it was inevitable, it was going to happen, and it actually looks like Vibes and they are being pushed up on by BTY and Better Than You. We know this is a scary team to be up against, so Vibes is taking it slow, laying prone on the beach for right now, relaxing. Well, I feel like Jack, he's standing so still. Yeah, he knows something is up. Look at him standing by that half wall, looking out into the hills. He knows somebody's near, but will Max Zone? Ooh, this nade could be huge.
Ooh. Oh, right over
Ooh.
Drak's head, and that grenade is going to allow Drak to at least be somewhat aware that there's going to be some creepy crabs on the beach trying to make the approach. And I already see one of the squad mates from Better Than You trying to get onto the roof, trying to get some additional sight lines. Yep, Joel up there. Let's see what they can do. The crabs are starting to come ashore from the chill vibes from the beach. But look at that vibes. I only see a duo right here on the actual beach. I saw another one of their squad mates kind of push back on that hill. I don't know if they'll be able to provide that support from their current location. Max is just crawling up. Very interesting position coming out from Max right there. No real
He's
support.
being aggressive. No, not yet. I'm a little bit concerned. Zerad, I'm like, hopefully from his position a little bit further away to the southern side, he might have the height to be able to peek on over and keep him safe. Maybe that's why he's crawling towards the building for right now to get a little bit more on top of that hill. But it looks like Better Than You is starting to kind of get together. The zone did push up towards them, so they know they still have a good spot, and they don't want these people right beside them to continue to live there because they want to be able to freely look around, scout, and move and get involved in all the fights around them. And oh, Max Zone, literally only a wall away from Drak there. Oh my goodness, I would definitely be holding my breath, but it looks like maybe they just get kind of not interested anymore. They're kind of still staying there, but not fully looking for him.
Max Zone right now with that wall and a dream and a Tommy gun to try and get that highlight play of that moment. Was able to pop up, take out Drak, and not only knock him out, but thirst him. Let's see, Max Zone not done yet, reloading that Thompson. Position is compromised, though. We saw them take a couple shots, but now here comes the support from behind the tree. Their squad mate trying to close this gap. Max Zone going to be prepped this grenade. Ooh, but it bounced off that boulder. That was right on the money. Now we got a little grenade battle occurring.
Yeah, Menace gonna toss one as well. Looks like that's gonna go a little bit too far. Maybe hurt his teammate behind him, but doesn't quite look like it. I'm kind of curious to see how their other teammate died. It doesn't look like it was by Better Than You, actually, with those 0 defeated. So they are as a 3-man. Don't quite know where the 4th one went. And I'm actually surprised that they didn't push as much harder after that one knock, probably because of the hard cover, but Zerad's slowly getting closer. He could be kind of the surprise card in this fight. He's able to make a rotation over towards their eastern side.
Zerad needs to make some moves, in my opinion, to provide the support. Because right now, Better Than You, that's the first place squad in the lobby. So this is a huge fight for Vibe to try to come out on top. Wow. That is the toes, Max Zone. Talk about clocking in for work here tonight in PMCO. Got 2 kills to their name. And like we mentioned, that off angle from Vibes, now's your moment. Try to close the gap. Make it a 3v2.
That nade, I was like so close. I feel like he moved at the perfect time. If he didn't move, he might have also been knocked there. But Max Zone getting a second one, the same angle as well. It looks like, I feel like Better Than You, maybe not together as much anymore. Now we can see that it's a 2v3. The other team definitely has this advantage. And Max Zone, he's just confidently running around, his teammate behind him. It does look like his teammate Zerad a little bit closer now on that eastern side. He's just making sure none of them are leaving, I guess, from his position, while the other two are still trying to figure out where they are. Might make this push, but I would definitely do it together. So he has to wait for Lakia to be with them, and it looks like he's still at that palm tree behind him. So not yet. Oh, here he comes.
Yeah, Zerad was able to pull up awfully close to his squad mates. Trying to watch this angle, I believe, where Better Than You are trying to evacuate the duo. Looks like they are going to be able to use this shoreline to get on out of harm's way. I feel like this was the angle that Zerad had to kind of maintain it and keep down. But they were just able to weasel their way right to that little angle that Zerad just didn't have the sight lines on at that moment. And I believe Better Than You, they're going to be able to get on out of there as we're popping back to this fight that we saw in the bottom right-hand corner just a couple moments ago. Wall Street Bets, they look like they're under fire right here.
It's not looking good. It looks like Terror also being taken down. Jimmy, unfortunately, can't reach his teammate just yet. And Steve, he's just driving around that buggy, trying to find a little bit of a better spot. Both these guys actually super spread out. And WSB, this team, Wall Street Bets, it has that one player, Kinga, that we wanted to keep an eye on, specifically Hot Jukes as well. So we got to see how he and his team are going to be able to get out of here, especially kind of in a tough situation right now. I mean, they got to knock back, but it looks like Midnight just got rezzed. And honestly, this fight is happening from really far away with two teams that are very spread out.
Yeah, it looks like Casper was actually thirsted, and you called it Midnight was revived. So now it looks like it's going to be a 4v3 situation. We're talking about some 4v3 situations out here. Snipes just for fun. We got the snake battle out here. Last game, HTV, 12 kills, so we know they got the gun power. This is going to be a test. Do they have that communication? Can they communicate properly and make sure that they don't get caught off guard by these snakes in the grass? Because that could just be the thorn in your heel, as looks like Quinn going to be pulling back, regrouping with the squad mates.
Ooh, but they know, shooting right into that tree. I mean, it's super hard to be able to play down here. We can see that they're just against the blue zone. They have to start making a move soon as it's slowly closing. And they're just trying to put their guns away and make a run away. But honestly, their backs are completely exposed. I'd be a little bit worried that Just for Fun could just pop on up. But it doesn't even look like Snipes or Clown are interested in doing that for right now.
Hopefully they have meds. That's all I'm going to say. Because Trailey is like, see you later, boys. We saw Trailey from Just for Fun. They were just hoofing it a couple moments ago. So HTV Esports in the more dominant position now. Talk about the timing. They're able to avoid the blue zone damage. Yeah, it's only circle 3. It doesn't do too much, but every single point of damage matters when it comes to those meds. Yeah, it does add up. And now they're going to be able to gatekeep Just for Fun off of that one move.
Yeah, they're going to be quite happy up on top of this hill, too. I got to say, I feel like that hill is a really strong position, but it's a tiny bit easy to run up, especially on the northern side. But from there, they should be able to hold out the rest of Just for Fun. Maybe not Trailer if he got far enough away, but oh no, it looks like Featuring actually going to take out one man. But from locally here, they just rotate right into each other, and that's what happens on Sanhok. But now, again, a little bit of a blue zone fight. Will they be able to get out of here is the question. Featuring, honestly, has a pretty good position with some hard cover holding them.
Yeah, they need to be careful. Talk about just rotating in the wide open. Trixie Boy able to take full-on advantage of that. And here comes the blue zone. Papa Blue, you were just talking about they need to keep in the back of their mind. If you receive some shots, your health's going to be low, and the blue zone's only going to put it down even further. That's Featuring. They're right there on the edge, and they're trying to sweep up. They're trying to sweep up the edge right here. They're trying to get some kills underneath their belt. Only one so far, but they have the potential to get a couple more here. Get some of those kill points. Those nice, juicy kill points.
Yeah, only Medusa left on the very small shore of that river there. You can see him laying on down, teammates crawling all around him. I mean, right when they spot out Medusa, that could potentially be the end of that team, but it looks like Featuring no longer interested, kind of running away the opposite direction, starting to focus more on the zone again, because, I mean, right when you get it down to just one person left and you don't exactly know where they are, it might just be better to focus on the zone and getting inside of it, because the worst thing that could happen is that solo pops up while you're searching and completely takes one or two of you out. So be a little bit on the safer side, just start absolutely booking it away. And I have a feeling it's probably because the zone probably went pretty far away, but we'll see. Look at that, they're pretty far, 200 meters for right now, and we can see another team right in front of them. They have to start focusing on that fight.
They're just booking it right there. I don't even think Medusa's going to be able to survive with their med situation, as HTV out here laying down the suppression fire onto University. All 3 members right behind that shack, maybe even in the shack. Okay, they're right behind the boulder. Ooh, look at that peek shot, though. Quan immediately melted. See a little smoke right here. Might be looking to make a play. Looks like University. All 3 members going to be pulling out at the same time, trying to work together as a unit. UMP in hand. Go for that drop shot, but the timing gun from the support fire from their squad mates, able to kind of salvage this play.
Uh-oh, but it's not looking good. I mean, this blue zone really does, it's starting to hurt, right? And there still is a lot of people in front of them. We can see kind of like a mixture of some teams. Now it looks like HGV Boom now inside. It looks like they got a little bit of a friend right beside them. GT, not too much now, starting to move away, but he is the last man standing for HGV. Obviously, he wants to try and stay alive for as long as possible, but GT probably holding him out. This zone continue to go to the side. Oh, Boom took the advantage. He took the situation. He gets one knock. Oh, there's still 2 left, and the zone is still closing. This zone just keeps going to the west, and looks like one of the teams we're watching hopefully does in fact go down. Looks like Medusa couldn't survive outside of zone for long.
Ooh, Boom from the blue. Med situation are really low. Guzman knows exactly where Boom is. Guzman needs to make sure not to hard peek that, though, as both players actually going to be in the blue. So it's going to come down to who could med off better, who has the bigger backpack, as Guzman is just watching their squad mates die, get knocked out right beside them. And I gotta say, it's all for none, because regardless if you get taken out right now, it's gonna be 0 placement points. So best case scenario, try to get that 1 kill point. Try to get at least 1 point to offset the placement points this game, as we're popping back on over here. We saw them earlier on. Better than you. They were able to escape that fight on the beach. Still a duo in the ruins, the Butcher, Joel. Let's see what they can do.
Yeah, tough situation. Better than you wants to hold them out, but here we go. Looks like their break might come. It looks like another team starting to make a rotation towards them. It's going to be a little bit of a distraction. Mortal NA now making their move on it. Another team actually being able to hold them out too. It's turning into chaos up here on the northern side as multiple teams are trying to make the same rotations. Let's see what Joel's going to be able to do now as the solo. With him pushing.
Got him. Got him. Tommy gun to the face. Do not walk through that door. That's what Joel said. 3 kills so far. They're getting peppered down because I believe, what was it, Immortal, not too far from them. There's like 3 teams, but it seems as if better than you, Joel, the last survivor of the runes right here. A lot of meds too. They could med this off for at least a little bit.
Yeah, so they should be fine getting in on that northern side. We can see it's a little bit more clear right in front of them now. The southern side of this new zone, a little bit filled, not a gating godsend. A bunch of teams now being eliminated now, all the way down to 6 teams left. This is where a lot of the big placement points come into play, and everybody seems pretty set up in this situation. That road being a little bit of the terrain piece that cuts this zone in half. It's going to be a little bit of a difficult spot to make these next few rotations. And it looks like nobody really wants to make those first few moves, kind of just waiting it out to see where the next fight is going to happen before making a move. They're going to wait for the blue zone to make the push while they're still trying to hold some guys out. Looks like Wall Street Bet wants these kills in front of them for right now.
And Vibes, huge position. They got the compound, they're on the edge, they got the cover. I'm curious, they're going to hear these shots erupt. Are they going to pop their heads out, try to get some grenades, try to get some third-party action going, those kill points, because here comes Kinga, here comes Steve-O, tossing out the smoke wall, trying to create some soft cover, block those sight lines. King 8 popping out of the smoke, trying to take some shots straight out of Nepal. Only a duo right now on the edge. I'm curious, when will Vibes pop out? When will Vibes third party this fight?
A little bit longer. They want to hold on to the hard cover, it seems. So Wall Street Bets are going to start making that push. There's only one left, playing a little bit of ring around the rosy on the rock, and they're eventually going to go down. But now this is the opportunity that Vibes was waiting for. Strand Nepal also out, so 4 teams left. And it looks like Wall Street Bets just down to 2, very broken up. It's going to be a fight that needs to fight to the west. And wait a second, Jason Boy is actually getting involved all the way from the other side of the zone. He's fighting an entirely different team.
Walls Castle out here. Bad Boy Clutch on their knees, trying to get the pickup. I'm seeing a lot of players playing extremely passive when I feel like they should be taking advantage of the situation. Jason Boy going to be popping up the hill. Tommy gun in hand. Once when they breach those smokes, they're going to see 2 snakes in the grass just spraying you down with those Uzis. Jason Boy hitting the dirt. The trades coming on out. Jason Boy trying to salvage this play, but Jason Boy! Jason Boy down! The Terror! 6 kills so far. They have no time to reset. No time at all. Vibes crossing the road right now.
They know the fight over here happened. They don't want any reses to occur, so the instant push, using the buggy to go on ahead and do a little bit of scouting. Brar now knows that he is known exactly where he is. Wall Street Bets goes out to Blue Zone, and it looks like the run over happened. Got him, you're right. And it looks like we got our winners there, Dave.
All right, I'm happy that Vibes won because I was going to say, they played so passive in that compound where we saw Wall Street Bets taking the fight with Straight Out of Nepal. I feel like that was an opportunity for Vibes to pop out, try to third party that fight because both teams extremely low. And that was like on their front doorstep as well. It wasn't like they had to go across the hill, take a vehicle. No, this was right out front of their doorstep. They waited, though. They waited. Those two teams, they clashed. They fought it out. And then we saw Vibes at the end kind of just go for that buggy play. But my goodness, what a fight down there. Gil, oh, man. The terror. Terrorizing teams here on Sanhok.
I see. Yeah, you're not wrong. I can't believe the other team also was starting to pay attention to the teams on the entirely opposite side of the zone for them. I mean, if you see a person, why not go on ahead and take the fight? It is an angle that they don't want to get shot at as well. Just unfortunately, since they had that split attention, I think maybe that might have been a little bit of the downfall, but also just that was a tough situation for them to come from. Anyway, even if they finished up that fight and they started to make a push on in, I mean, Vibes were just waiting at that point. So Vibes getting that compound for themselves, getting that hard cover, just sticking it out. I mean, they were able to take control of those last couple of zones because of where it went. I do agree they could have made a third-party attempt on the fight that happened right beside them, but they're still able to get that 15 placement points and a couple more points in terms of kills.
I think Vibes just living up to their name and just chill vibing in that compound. Let's pull up the rankings. And we can't forget, we saw that beach fight that they had early on in the game. Max Zone was just popping off this game. So Vibes definitely having a phenomenal game at number 2 here. 15 placement points, of course, for that winner chicken dinner. Those kill points, though, only 4. Oh, okay, hey, they got the chicken. All right, I'm not going to harp on it too much longer, but the terror. Man, that was a huge fight down there in the south that we witnessed towards the end right there.
But the Terror, Wall Street Bets, Walls Castle, all of them being able to really take a lot of fights with 6 kills or 7 kills. Yeah, you're right. That fight over towards the edge was absolutely huge for the Terror. They didn't get the chicken, but they still able to grab second place and a good amount of kills. That is kind of the amount of points you'd like to see. That is a good game for them. And all these other guys ended up going out a little bit earlier. I gotta say, I feel like that zone was a little bit mean with all of its hard shifts. The plane was far to the east, and the zone just kept hard shifting to the west. So I do think these guys did have it out for them a tiny bit on every single rotation, but it was still those guys that were able to rotate a little bit better that were able to take it away.
Yeah, and it is early on, right? A lot of these teams brand new to this level of competitive play, maybe even brand new when it comes to working together as a squad. I'm talking 1, I'm talking 2 weeks, maybe a month old. So there's not a lot of time to kind of build that synergy. Let's pop over to the next page. I got to say, though, page 1, the kill points, pretty evenly distributed. Not too bad. So everybody walking away with a couple kills underneath their belt. And I think that's just going to be the story of Sanhok. Like, everybody has the opportunity to really showcase their gun mechanics. But my team, I said Ornado. That's the team I think is definitely going to come out on top. 14th place. And I also said Immortal. Dude, dead last right here this game. What's going on?
Cursed them, Dave. Cursed them. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, I already said, I think maybe those zones are just a little bit difficult. They were on the side where a ton of people were going to be making rotations in, so they were stuck with the herd. Unfortunately, I guess they just couldn't fight their way out of that situation, so they ended up falling. I do feel like our first game was a lot more top-heavy than this game. You did mention it, so this was an opportunity for a lot more people to pick up some more kill points. And you can definitely see that with that distribution of kills on that leaderboard. But we're done with Sanhok for today, Dave. We're about to move on to Miramar, and it's going to be once again an entirely different situation for these teams to play out of. So, I mean, those teams that you did choose, maybe it's just Sanhok. Maybe they'll go on ahead and come back from Miramar. You know, just a little bit of a feels better. Don't worry, Dave, you didn't curse them too bad, maybe.
hey, we're going to be getting hot and sweaty next game, Miramar. So remember, each group, they play 12 games here in the group stages. They're going to have a total of 6 Erangel, 3 Sanhoks, and 3 Miramar. So if Sanhok, Miramar, not the strongest map in your roster's rotation, your pool, your map pool, I guess you could say. Okay, work on it. Definitely you want to tighten up the Erangel maps. That's where you could acquire the most points. But ladies and gentlemen, Sanhok, done. So moist. Now we're going to be heading on over to the dry desert right after this break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
The OnePlus 9 Pro.
The OnePlus 9 Pro. Oh my god, this phone feels incredible. The best processor, 120 hertz, 12 gigs of RAM, and a Hasselblad camera. What more could you want?
The hyper touch on this bad boy is phenomenal.
The best model of OnePlus phone I have used to date. the OnePlus 9 Pro.
The OnePlus 9 Pro. Oh my god, this phone feels incredible. The best processor, 120 hertz, 12 gigs of RAM, and a Hasselblad camera. What more could you want?
The hyper touch on this bad boy is phenomenal.
The best model of OnePlus phone I have used to date.
Welcome back, everybody. Here we are back for the PUBG Mobile Club Open. Jukes here with Dave. Span Cargo did a great job here today, and we will see here again mañana. But it's gonna be the Jukes and Dave podcast to wrap things up. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, let's go. Let's do it. 3, 2, 1, boom! That's what I'm talking about,
Woo!
baby. Let's
Okay.
get it.
Okay. PMCO Jukes, we're here once again. I mean, we have been through a couple PMCOs now, and I feel like every single PMCO, like the new blood, the new players, the new competition, it's just getting better over time. Like these players, they're really growing, and every single PMCO, like we get just better and better players coming up into the scene. It's really amazing.
It's insane. I mean, I remember the first PMCOs that we did. I ain't gonna lie, it was just a shoot of just people just kind of running all over the place, trying to figure things out. I mean, we saw some.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, it was kind of entertaining to see some just like full send pushes and nonsense. But now, I mean, I was mentioning it to Span in the first game. It was the fastest rotations I've seen of any PMCO. Like these guys came prepared. There's so much money, dude, on the line. I can't blame them. I mean, it's literally a life-changing moment if they're able to go ahead and move through these stages. So they came in hot. They're coming in hot here in this PMCO.
I definitely kind of missed those clown fiestas, though. It was entertaining. But when we look at just competitive PUBG Mobile as a whole, like obviously we're moving in that right direction. The players, the teams, they're just getting better over time because they have so much more information. You were talking about data. They got so much more knowledge out there that they could just watch the top tier teams. They could watch other regions and literally just copy and paste play styles and strategies and drop spots. And I think that's what we're starting to see here for these PMCOs, because these teams, some of these teams have players that have competed in PMCOs and PMPLs before. So like they're trying to make it or break it here, honestly, and it's been pretty exciting, and we're only 2 games deep.
Man, it's love to see some of the veteran players come out hot too, but we're seeing some new people just come in big time. Let's take a look at the rankings one more time here before we get started the rest of it. We got better than you, bro. Dude, they're better than everyone. That's a perfect name.
Yeah.
I mean, first place.
Oh, wow. And you know what I saw last game is they got in a pickle. They were in a tight pinch on that beach on the shoreline, but they came up with some type of plan to evacuate that dangerous situation, and they kept 2 members alive, focusing solely on those placement points. And we can see their score almost 50-50 when we're looking at placement points and kills. And that's something that we say a lot of the times when we compliment teams in the top echelons of competitive. So we're talking about that copy and paste. Well, they're taking some copy paste of their own from other teams, and they're doing quite well for themselves so far. Here's that second page, though. Just for fun. University. Yeah. These teams, they need to clap back here this game.
Yeah, they need it. I mean, I got to give it up to Vibes NA. Looking at them, they got that chicken dinner in the last game, and that was 15 placement points. That shot them up into the top 5. I mean, they really, really needed that one. So any one of these teams here can obviously pull something like that out. Sanhok, always you got those shenanigans, but with Miramar, I think we're going to see things balance out a little bit, and we're going to see some squads be able to kind of really pull it out.
And don't forget, with the flagship performance and immersive 120 hertz display and technology made specifically for gamers like HyperTouch, the OnePlus 9 and 9 Pro are their best shots to climb up the leaderboards. Shout out to them for sponsoring here the PUBG Mobile Club Open. Ladies and gentlemen, though, we got about 10 more seconds until we get into playing for Miramar. Hot Jukes, let's bring it.
Let's get it, baby. Headed on over to the desert. Big game here for a lot of these teams to bounce back. Looking forward to see which squad's going to do it. And here we are. We got the plane. You can see, of course, that OnePlus 9 Pro always popping up here. Best of the best, man. I'm so pumped up to see how these teams are going to bounce back and really, if better than you, is going to continue to be better than everybody in here in this lobby.
And I just want to add a little note there, because you were talking about it, the OnePlus 9. I know we're talking about reminiscing other PMCOs. We used to have the battery check back in the other PMCOs.
That's right.
Dude, with the OnePlus 9, bro, you could plug it in and 5 minutes is like completely 100% charged. Like that is perfect for I think this, competitive PUBG Mobile. You play your game, you charge in between the short breaks, you're juiced up. You're ready to go for that next game. So just want to throw it out there. I really do enjoy that feature on the phone. But Jukes, we're in it. We're in it, brother. We're in Miramar. What are you seeing?
Oh, man, dude, I'm looking at this plane path, and it's going to be coming, obviously, from the east over to the west. It's a south side plane path. I ain't going to lie. I hate this plane path, personally. To me, I think all these players, it's just so tough because you don't have an opportunity to just drop onto El Pozo and a lot of the other great areas up there, Hacienda de Patron, San Martin, the southern plane path, and not to mention, it's so difficult to travel through it. I mean, for some reason, the south side is Mountain City. And guess what? These players are going to have to deal with that as the first zone is going to be a southern zone here in Miramar. So, yeah, it's just so difficult to rotate on the south side, I think, compared to everywhere else on Miramar.
Remember in the pre-show, Span Cargo was talking about Picado. Well, it looks like Walls Castle was the squad to take up Picado. Huge focal point. Dead center, Miramar, you were talking about Mountain City. Like, you're Picado. You don't got to worry too much about that. And it is going to be center zone here, circle number 1. So that is a solid drop spot. But we're checking in over here. It looks like one of their squad mates from Featuring. Well, they got a couple weapons and a level 1 helmet. But hopefully they got some sunscreen because they're going to get tan waiting out here for their squad mates to provide that support, because it's going to be godsend right over that hill.
I get that SPF going, dude. Pecado, Spanish word, means sin, dude. Sin City. And you got to get ready to get down and dirty. I think that's all these players are doing here. I love to see that, even in PMCO, without very much information, you're seeing a lot of these teams not do crazy hot drops. Like, they're playing it very, very solid. And honestly, that's a surprise for me because, like I mentioned, they're going in with practically zero intel. And to see them be able to drop separately, respect each other at the start, I mean, it's very PMPL-esque. And I love to see that here in PMCO.
And that's kind of like the theme that we were talking about before this game. Like, they might not have that much intel on their opponents in the lobby, but they do know what not to do. And that's the hot drop on their squad, because that right there, you just setting yourself up for failure. Yeah, you might get a couple kills, but there's a high chance that you might get wiped out as well. And that'll be 0 points. As we're checking in with Steve-O. Wall Street Bets left their license at home. One thing I see, though, is there 3 members Wall Street Bets piled into that Marauder? Dude, they just better hope they don't run across somebody with a gun. Because, 1 clip, maybe 1.5 clips? That's it.
That's all it takes.
3 squad mates done. Oh, 4 of them here. 4.
Oh, man, they got the whole squad. Wall Street Bets to the moon, baby. Got King A in there. Oh, uh-oh. Ogilvy driving by. It looks like they may just wave a little bit. He's got that mini. And, yep, look at that. 1 shot, Dave. 1, dude. Just saying, you know what? I'm over here. Go away. And they
Real talk, though, do you go for that if you're Ogilvy? Do you go for that push and try to hunt them down? You don't think so?
They're in a bus, and there's just so much terrain. It's tough to drive through. It's just too risky. I think, what you want to do, especially early on, is just avoid those, coin flip decisions. You know what I'm saying? Just play very concise. Don't try to do full send risky plays. It's honestly just not worth it, especially when you got so much on the line and slots to move on to these crazy prize pools coming up. So, yeah, I don't blame them at all for just, doing that little one shot, saying, hey, we're over here, you head that way, and just respect me. Respect me, Dave.
Well,
Some
they
respect
respect
on my name.
Steve-O because nobody popped out the car yet, man. I'm surprised they haven't prioritized maybe picking up another vehicle along the way. It looks like they're trying to send into the city, maybe get some additional loot, but
I don't
they
like
have
that
been,
rotation
I
though.
mean, it has been
That's
a
risky.
real risky.
Yeah.
They passed about, what, 3 different individuals who, had the potential maybe to take them out, but they made it, though. They made it after all.
Worked out. It worked out. I mean, I think I'd personally like to see them play it a little bit more leapfroggy. You know what I'm saying? Like go and just stop at a hill, scope it out, and then move little by little. It takes a little bit longer, but I think we see all the teams at the high level. That's like their go-to thing. When you just full send it like that, you risk getting caught up by that gun. And I guarantee you, in Miramar, more than any other map, people are looking to spray down those vehicles as they go by. So risky play, but hey, you know what? Their name is Wall Street Bets for a reason, Dave. They're willing to take that risk. You know what I'm saying? Hey, sometimes you gotta buy high and sell low. You know what I'm saying, Dave? You know about that.
Dude, okay, I'm not going there because I have been on a roller coaster, right? I'm not talking about that one. All right. Oh, man. Oh, the tear, dude. Yeah, I guess that's my life right there. Just get in, 4 piled up Marauder, just full send, baby. That's the only way. If you're not first, you're last. You got to take those big risks. So Wall Street Bets, well, they're going to be in that town, getting that loot, that sweet loot. But last game, just kind of shift the topic here because I really am a little tear. The Terror, that team, talk about the clutch. They clutched it out last game. And they had a fighting chance, right, to go against Vibes, who were extremely passive. But this right here, this the dude. Two-piece. The two-piece. Didn't even hesitate. And that's what we're talking about. Like, we're starting to see those star players just come into PMCO. I know you were talking about Shady from Ornata. Huge fan myself. I'm looking for Shady to pop off. And when I hear about Shady, I'm thinking Coops 2.0. That's just me saying that, all right? That's a Mustache Dave hot take, so I'm looking forward to that. We've seen Kill Switch come out from PMCO. Like, PMCO, it allows us to see new teams on the up and up, but individual players as well who have been practicing, grinding. Like, this is their moment, Jukes, to, like, shine and put their name on the board.
This is what I was kind of talking about a little bit with Span a little earlier, and it's kind of a tough thing because if you're an individual player, and I'm not going to lie, if you don't have a lot of confidence in your squad, I think your job is to just get a ridiculous amount of kills. Because if you do put your name out there, and you may have some other squads that are already qualified look to pick you up and throw you on the roster. We've seen that happen before, many times.
All the time.
But the thing is, all the time. But the thing is that if you do that, and you play individually, and you don't play as a team, you're gonna put your squad in a position to not move on in general. So it's a little bit of a 50-50. I think you have to play as a squad first and foremost, but gotta get them kills, baby. I mean, that's really the only thing that we could really see that show that, oh man, this guy can frag out. You know what I'm saying?
I think squad first, listen to those calls, the IGL, follow the calls, of course. You got to be a good team player. But if you're in the situation, you see some tasty points. You know for a fact, like, okay, I can hit this grenade, get that double. Go for it. Go for those plays. I agree with you 100%. Team game, of course, top 16. That is exactly what the goal is right now in group stages to move to the finals. And then from the finals, PMPL. But if you're a top fragger at the end of this PMCO, you're going to have eyes on you. That's just a fact. We've seen it for years now happen. So I think it's kind of good, though, because every player is coming into PMCO trying to work as a team, but also do their best as an individual. So if you're doing your best, that's all you can do, right? I mean, you're doing your best.
Big
so
facts.
I think it's a good thing, actually.
You got to do it. You got to get it done, man. And I'll tell you what, this next zone is going to center up right onto Pecado. We saw Team 18 Walls Castle. They're holding it down there right now. The only squad in there, so they're set up really well for the rest of this match. And we're seeing, other squads just trying to get intel. It's still very early in the game, but really soon we're going to have to see those big rotations come out. So they definitely, Miramar is a map where you got to have a vehicle and you got to pick up some gas cans. because when it comes to those movements and those rotations, man, you got a lot of ground you have to cover.
You see Vibes getting possibly
Vibing.
scouted out from multiple teams. Yeah, they're definitely vibing last game, extremely passive. I did see one of their members does have an M249, so they at least have a light machine gun on their squad. And I think I tweeted about this like a week ago. I said, you're throwing if you, and I want to get your take.
Ooh,
I'm getting your take here.
okay.
I said you are actually throwing if you don't have one team member who doesn't carry a light machine gun. Because now it's a world spawn. Jukes,
True.
come on, man.
True.
The M249, the
Dude.
extended mag, like at least one of them on the team, man. I think, come on, Jukes. Come on.
You know, I don't think I could go and say that you're wrong, but dude, that UMP these days, that thing be hitting like an M249 of old, you know? I don't know. That thing is so scary. I mean, it's like, honestly, I think it's rated like as one of the best CQC weapons right now, which is insane. I mean, before that UMP, if you saw it, you left that thing on the ground. But now a lot of people are picking up. Got to give it to, you know, getting into the game, the Terror up here, picking off one of the members from Vibes. I've talked about this before with you, Dave. The Hot Jukes excuse card. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. We were talking about it last game with Span Cargo, actually. We said 2 games.
Okay.
We said 2 games. That's it. No, nothing more.
I think
What
it's.
do you think?
You know what? I would have said 2 games in old PMCOs, but seeing teams play the way they play now, I think I can only give you 1, dude. That is really it. It's Sanhok. Whatever's gonna happen at Sanhok it is what it is, right? The rotations are just insane. But here, if you really want to go get that money, you can't be making more than 1 mistake. And I got to give it up to the Terror. Because in the first game, we saw them, I got to be honest, make it kind of a silly push. They didn't get a knock. They didn't have enough information. And they lost 2 players super early. But you saw them in game 2. Bounce back. Get some good kills. And you saw in the kill feed right now, it looks like they were able to pick up another knock onto Vibes. So they seem to really have just snapped themselves together and are looking to bounce back hard after that kind of rough game 1. I love to see that.
And I liked it too. They made the push. They lost 2, but then they attempted to pull back and salvage the situation. So now it looks like 3 squad mates of the Terror. Well, they're on the hunt down. Max Zone up there on the top story. Max Zone last game was popping off though. M249. Let's see this, Jukes.
Oh, this is scary. And Max is going to jump out because he knows that he is in big trouble. Oh, and Jim's going to jump out with them. He's got to be careful not to make a mistake. They got to stay together. Push together as a team if they're going to be able to take out Max Zone, and they're going to catch him on the end. Beautifully executed from the Terror. They recognize that, hey, we got 2 kills on Vibes. We got one of these players completely pushed out by himself. Let's just send it on him and get that kill, and that's what they did. Wow.
That was solid. And you know that no hesitation from Jimmy to continue to follow Max Zone as they vaulted out that window. No hesitation. That's what you need to have. Now, looking back at that Max Zone M249, to prove my point, I would have loved to have saw him just spray down that stairwell. All right, I would have loved to have seen it. I think they had the weapon to do just that. Why didn't they do that? That's for another day. They do have 1 more member still alive, trying to stay alive, get those placement points. But popping over here, we were talking about Wall Street bets just a little earlier on. They're very dangerous rotation. All 4 members in that 1 vehicle. Looks like University trying to possibly close in on them here very shortly. The zone did go up, so both squads need to reposition just a little bit. But University, they do have the hills, the high ground, as of right now.
Yeah, you can see them trying to decide, you know, do we going to press zone? But Wall Street bets are going to get a beautiful angle. Alexi putting some crazy shots downfield. He's going to get a knock here, most likely. Unable to do it, though. That's kind of a tough break. He does have a really solid position onto them. Yeah, you can see them having to throw some smokes out, and that is not a good rock to be behind. So, oh yeah, I'm sorry, Alex. You got a good arm, but it ain't that good, you know? So put that Molotov back in your pocket. Pull out that M4.
I'm still looking, though. University, are there 2? No, there's only 1. Yeah, that boulder, they do have some soft cover, those smokes, but there is a vehicle. I don't know if it's exploded quite yet. University trying to pull up, salvage what they can, but it is not working out. The cover fire right now from Wall Street Bets is phenomenal as of right now. It's working out.
Oh, and they called the full send. The second they got that knock, he's like, yo, let's go. King A hopping in that buggy really quick, and they're heading up the hill. We do shift onto another fight happening right here, and you can see them just kind of poking at each other, trying to get that initial knock, but it looks like Immortal NA is going to kind of back off it for now. But if they get a good one, I wouldn't be surprised if they decide to send this. They got a good position.
And I think that Wall Street Bets fight, it comes down to just the experience, right, that they have from previous PMCOs, PMPLs. They got the advantage. They got a couple knocks, and they're sending it to try to get those confirmed. So just wanted to kind of add that in towards the end there. Cherry on top.
No hesitation
Immortal,
after the knock. Yeah, it was
no hesitation. They learned. Yeah, they definitely learned. They got that experience, and it's going to have to come in clutch. Next zone does go up, and they are all the way up there towards the north as Kevin trying to get a nice little one-tap dirt nap. I'm sure all these teams up here, Power Grid, they're like, okay, what's the plan? And they're looking right at their IGLs. This might be their first time IGL at this level of competitive play. I can only imagine the pressure.
Oh, man, it's going to be at an all-time high. I'll tell you what, though, at the high level, you got to already have the plan put into play. Now's the time to execute it. If you're just barely trying to put it together now, you're going to be behind the 8-ball. And we'll see right now what GT decides to do. They are pretty, I mean, the zone's not too far away from them, but you see they have to cross this open field, and they only have not the best of vehicles, so you can just see them just trying to run it on in here. Are they going to be able to catch that knock? Oh, and he does get turned on. So AFP goes down. The rest of GT are going to have to figure out something here if they want to make it in.
Yeah, they had 2 buses and 1 buggy. And then, you know, just for fun, they're going to be pulling off this one. But better than you, they're trying to take advantage of the situation. They're trying to get some additional kill points in. The first 2 games we've seen from them, very aggressive. So I don't see them slowing down anytime soon. Oh, another squad coming up, roll up to the party.
Oh,
featuring as well.
Third party here. Better than you are going to have to really show themselves and express their dominance. And you can see that beautiful knock right there. Oh, gets crossed up, though, from that other angle. And the rest of his squad is a little too far spread out from him. So I don't think they're going to be able to get that support going. But they're not really pressing this. Is going to be team featuring. They're going to hold it. So that's going to give Better Than You a little bit of an opportunity to get a reset going.
Oh, Butcher not able to get there in time. Yeah, that off angle. And Butcher's getting chunked down as well, trying to pop into that. That truck not able to get on out of harm's way. Also tagged down. Featuring, they're trying to push this one. Still 4 up. So it's going to be a 4v2. And Better Than You, Menace, Drake, they got those smokes for the time being, but I don't see them moving on out of that little bowl that they're in, the street here, if Featuring continue to push this.
No, Better Than You, they have the gun skill, but the problem is that they're squashed between like 3 different squads and getting hit from so many different angles. Featuring isn't playing it hyper aggressive onto them, which is a good thing for them, but the more time that they give them, the more time Featuring is going to get that confidence and start being able to crest that hill. You can see right now they're throwing those grenades just to buy time. That's literally all they're doing, and guess what? The clock did run out for them as they are going to get one thirsted, and I believe it's just Menace up left for Better Than You in that little bowl.
And those were grenades from Menace. Like, those grenades were on point, but Featuring, they are using their vehicles, and this ridge did so well right now. All they had to do, peek over, take a couple shots. If they receive some fire, go back behind that ridge. That ridge provides cover so they can get the heals off, full reset. But it looks like with time not on their side, that was interesting. Pushing across the road before getting that reset. I believe the next zone did pop, so it's going to be applying some additional pressure over there on their side of things. But they did a great job taking out Better Than You.
That's huge. I mean, and Better Than You, that's 13th place. So that is a goose egg for them in placement points. And all the teams right now, if they're tracking the kill feed well enough, they're going to know that they're out the lobby. And this is a good opportunity to be able to get, some more points to pass them up. The door's starting to open up for some of these other squads here early on. And we'll see who's going to be able to capitalize on this. Look how many teams are here on the edge of this circle by Pecado. They got to get going right now. HTV, yeah, they're popping in their vehicles. And I think at this point, they're going to have to full send it in with only 5 seconds left. It's going to be a tough drive.
Man, I would have liked to saw one more player against Boom's car. They got a 3-1 here. Boom will be leading the charge. They are going to be using those mountains, those hills, to block those sight lines. Straight out of Nepal, though. Great spot. Possibly gatekeep all these squads rotating. HTV, okay. They found a shack. Wow. Huge for them. Wow.
Beautiful rotation. Beautiful rotation. Working out perfectly. And I think that happened to help out by Immortals just coming in right behind them. Straight out of Nepal had to decide who they wanted to take, and they took out the team on the back end. You can see Clay here from 6 Elites trying to find some heads with that Car 9. Doesn't able to get the first knock. Wall Street Bets in the center of it. Here comes the Mini as well. I mean, we're just really starting to get into the action here in Zone 5.
Oof, I like the 2-2 split, though, from 6 Elite. Unfortunate for them, though, they're just not able to hold down those angles, as it does look like the duo behind that boulder, they were taken down, picked apart, so now you just got the duo, right here in the hard cover of the building. They're going to be trying to get some headshots over there. 10 teams, though, 20 minutes, still 10 teams alive. If they can't take out right now, 1 point.
This zone is pretty toxic because there's just so many different hills and little defilates to be able to kind of push through it. We just see these teams holding the edge of the zone, just trying to get a little bit of movement forward little by little. You still got quite a few squads holding the top of these hills. Straight out of Nepal have a good position. They do take out Immortal NA on the back end. 8 teams remaining. You go out right now, it's only 1 point. So that's going to be really tough for these squads. Oh, a beautiful nade there from the bottom, as we're starting to see some teams get pushed onto each other.
I'm still kind of cheering for Featuring out here. Yeah, Skur might have some sightlines of the Trixie Boy, but Featuring, they have been just forced to continue to push every single zone and play that edge, and somehow still with 3 alive. Wall Street Bets, though.
Stuck.
See Casper in the blue. Yeah, just stuck. It looks like they're going to be getting gatekept from, what is that, HTV out there and 6 Elite. Almost able to hit that. Not in time, though. Not in time. And now they're getting confirmed.
Easy points right there for 6 Elites. Yeah, picking that up. King A right now, the last one alive. This guy has to, in my eyes, is the most veteran player in this lobby. He has played at some of the highest levels. He's played at national, international lands before. He does have the most kills in the lobby, and he's the last remaining member for Wall Street Bets. So he's got to make something happen on his own because there's still 8 teams remaining. He's got to get some placement points.
Catch me out of land. That's what he's trying to say here. HTV, though, that rotation was critical because we see them. They're applying so much pressure right now. They're getting a couple knocks from up there towards the north. Not going to be getting those thirst, but they are going to be taking out the utility. They're going to be forcing their enemies to dip into their meds here. So they're doing exactly what they need to be doing up there. They have a nice buffer between them and everybody else as well. But Godsent trying to flex out right now. We see a lot of Godsent names in the kill feed over there on that west side.
Putting so much pressure, and you can just see Featuring the last member getting caught out by that Mini from HTV. So they're going to go out in 8th place, 7 squads remaining. The Terror have that shack, and they've been playing it very quiet. That shack has just been paying off big time for them, but they're going to have to do something here soon because I'm not going to be surprised if they get pushed on and within just a few moments notice here.
Yeah, they're between 4 members of Straight Out Nepal down here in that dip, and then 2 members of Ornata, who I believe Shady might have some decent sightlines onto them. Once when they peek their heads out of that shack, it just might be a GG for them, as Fluffy just buying some time. They got 4 up Straight Out of Nepal, so they are going to have somewhat of a numbers advantage. And then on the opposite end of the zone, Godsend as well with 4 up.
Oh, there goes King A. So Wall Street Bets out there. They did get some good kills under their belt, but unfortunately not able to hold on. You can see the Terror grill. Oh, this could be a beautiful day from Shady. From Ornata Gaming. Is this going to be it? The bounce!
Oh,
hey, baby!
Shady!
All day long.
That's
Shady,
what we like to see.
Beautiful laydown.
Dude, didn't get taken out right there. Skur trying to protect their backsides with the M249 prone using that tripod action. Godsent, though, strong squad. Still 4 up, and they're flexing. They got a 3-1 split right here, trying to just take as much dominance in this end zone, and look at it. It goes right on top of them, and they get a crate, that level 3 gear. This has to be a godsend game. It just has to be.
I mean, that zone was pretty much godsend. I mean, that's perfect for them. I mean, yeah, they have all the lay of the land, nothing but open field in front of them. They just can't. They have to be able to play aggressive here. They cannot play passive for 1 second. They cannot allow teams to push up on them for free. If they're able to do that, this game is in the bag. And to be honest with you, if they lose this, it's a throw.
HTV sending it, getting awfully close. They sent in a vehicle, and only Quan got taken out. So we do see some smokes. Godsend trying to play a little passive, but using all their grenades. Oh, what's that? Straight out of Paul. Mistakes were made. Let's see, though. Let's see. What can Godsend do? Everybody's looking at them.
Straight out of Nepal, pushing up, and while all the action is going on, trying to catch a third party, HTV getting a nice shot there on the other end. So Godsend are pinched big time, 10 kills, make that 11, and they're gonna make it 12. I mean, they are doing a great job. Beautiful press from Salt. He's got to get this kill. Nice action. Oh, the drop shot!
Oh, the drop shot!
So huge!
Q! The Tommy gun drop shot! 2 health!
Oh, 1 HP. So clutch. That was disgusting. And that turned it around right there. Now Godsend's in big trouble.
Wow.
What a play. So clutch.
Wow. HTV Angry Q. We talk about the clutch card all the time. That's your thing, Hot Chicks. Would you say Angry just got the clutch card right there?
Oh man, he got
drop
the clutch
shot, Tommy
badge, bro. Put it. You got the clutch badge. Put it on the sash right there. That was beautiful. That turned things around beautifully for them. That's 9 kills so far for HTV. So now Trey, stuck by his lonesome, smoking out, trying to make it happen, and straight out of Nepal, they got the whole squad still up. So now it's their game. Only 1 kill? But
Dude, hey, they were able to get the pickup. They were able to get the reset because one of their squad mates did get knocked out on that push. They jumped out a little too soon. So, from behind, Skirr! M249 not able to spoil the dreams of straight out of Nepal. 2 kills so far for them, and
there goes Trey.
Here it goes. 4v2. 4v2.
Can you get the double clutch match? Not like that though. Not like that. The man's on fire. Angry Q, yeah, he's gonna run right behind that truck. Nice little low toss nade to kind of just buy himself some time. The problem is that now they have smokes on themselves, so they have no vision. And that allows straight out of Nepal to push up on them for free, which they should. They should push this aggressive. They know it's only 2 players left. They should take that hill, throw all that utility on them, and it should be an easy game for straight out of Nepal. If HTV wins this, it is pure clutch. The bush, though.
249.
And then 249.
Loaded. The
so
bush
dead.
creating a smoke wall. And look at how HTV, they're splitting up. They're both taking opposite directions. It's going to really come down to that individual gun skill and if they got it.
So I think what's happening right now is Angry Q is putting a lot of shots, making a lot of noise, and allowing his teammate to come in on the opposite end. But the thing is that he had to come in quick. He has to help him out. No, instead, he just kind of takes his time. So Angry Q is going to get the kill. I think right now HTV have switched to just trying to go for placement. And this is an easy win right here for straight out of Nepal. Here they come running all together, trying to find it, and they do. So straight out of Nepal, straight into some chicken dinners, baby. Looking good. Looking good.
Love to see it. And I do appreciate HTV's play right there. I think you nailed that one on the head. Like, that was what they wanted to do. At least that's what it looked like from our point of view. You know, Angry taking those shots with a Tommy gun. We saw all 4 members of straight out of Nepal. They were all looking at Angry. They were all trying to take some shots on Angry. It came down to timing. You needed your backstab gunner with the M249 to pop up, rise out of the dust at that moment, and go, bah, 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 bah. And that was the play that would have been clutch. And I think that's what they were trying to do. But remember, you know, nerves on the line, top 2 situation. Not only that, 2v4, I can only imagine. But straight out of Nepal, coming out on top, though, Hot Jukes.
Yeah, and I can't honestly blame HTV because at the end of the day, this is PMCO. This is the group stages. They're looking to make sure that they qualify into the finals, and they want to get every single point that they can. So for HTV to kind of say, hey, yo, we got a ton of kills. Most likely, maybe top 3, situation because if you're not tracking through the kill feed, you see 4 players left, but they got the second place finish, so a great game for them regardless. And it all happened, Dave, from a drop shot, dude. That drop shot was dirty, dude. Dirty.
1 HP, 2 HP, so low. Dude, do you even drop shot, bro? I'm bringing it back. That's what Angry said. Do you even drop shot, bro? That was nice. I honestly thought they were dead. Those smokes, those chaos, it was crazy. Nice Miramar game. Let's check out the rankings, though, ladies and gentlemen. Day 1, it has been pretty exciting. PMCO so far. Not gonna lie, straight out of Nepal though. Here's their winner chicken dinner this game.
And you know what the funny thing is? They did get the chicken dinner, but they got 3rd place, Dave. 3rd place in points. Godsend, actually, with the most points this game. 12 kills, even though they got 3rd place in the game. With those 12 kills, that's going to give them the most points total with 22. HTV also pushing out straight out of Paul with 21 points in total. I think that's the first time we've ever seen that, Dave. 1st place chicken dinner getting 3rd in total points.
Straight out of Nepal, they were awfully quiet, towards that late game. We saw them 4 up. They were in that little bowl, that little ditch, and they were just tossing out smokes left and right, just making sure that they don't receive any gunfire, keeping their numbers alive. I appreciate it. We see a lot of teams, they come in with multiple strategies. Some teams, they favor placement points. They recognize the importance of keeping all their squad mates alive and using those numbers in that late game. And then we see other teams, just YOLO, hot drop in, trying to get as many kills as possible. So straight out of Nepal, if they can continue on with their consistency with placement points, remember, you talked about it, top 16. That's the goal here for group stage, and that's all you need. So if they can just continue, I can see them doing it, man. I can see them doing it because the last 2 games, pretty solid when it comes to points.
We could be hypercritical because we know what's on the line and we know we want to see these teams move on. And I'll tell you this, though, man, 20 points, I'll take that all damn day. So you know that they are pumped up. They're excited. At the end of the day, if we do give a little criticism, it's because we want to see them push it to the limit, baby. As we move on to page number 2, and you can see here some squads, unfortunately, did not be able to have that same results. And there's one name, Dave, that really stands out to me. It's Better Than You. Man, they got taken out really early in this one.
Yeah, and it goes back to that fight with B-Train. Better Than You, and I think their aggressive play style kind of bit them in the butt this game because they tried to third party that fight. I forget who. I think GT. They were stuck. They were pinned down just for fun. They were around the area as well. Better Than You, they pushed out of the zone in the general area, and then featuring just randomly rolled up. And that's the lobby, right? The rotating groups. They strolled up. They got the more dominant position. Better Than You, they were trying to retreat, and they just got shot in the back and then pinned down. So, their aggressive play style has been working out phenomenal here so far. But then on the flip end, we get to see kind of, when it goes wrong that game. And I think Better Than You, how can they improve that? Their backup plan, their evacuation plan. So we'll see. They will have one more game here to go. Erangel coming up next, Hot Juke. So don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
The OnePlus 9 Pro.
The OnePlus 9 Pro. Oh my God, this phone feels incredible. The best processor, 120 hertz, 12 gigs of RAM, and a Hasselblad camera. What more could you want?
The hyper touch on this bad boy is phenomenal.
The best model of OnePlus phone I have used to date. the OnePlus 9 Pro.
The OnePlus 9 Pro. Oh my god, this phone feels incredible. The best processor, 120 hertz, 12 gigs of RAM, and a Hasselblad camera. What more could you want?
The hyper touch on this bad boy is phenomenal.
The best model of OnePlus phone I have used to date.
Whoo, we're back, baby. Here we go. The PUBG Mobile Club Open Ball Split brought to you by OnePlus 9 Pro. Dave, 3 matches in the books, bro. Only 1 left to go, and we're headed back to Erangel. You pumped up?
I'm pumped up, and just chilling with the chat. I think I figured out what's been happening tonight. All right,
Up?
I said God sent. They're gonna get the win. They didn't get the win. I came into today saying Immortal. They're gonna be on top. I just need to stop jinxing squads. Like that's the truth here. I need to take a chill pill and relax. I need to stop. I take the blame. Regardless, though, they had a ton of kills. God sent, so they did good on that end. And we talked about it when it comes to total points that last game. They kind of still won, right? They didn't get the chicken.
I mean, yeah,
still.
I was like, didn't they have like the most points? So I mean, technically they did. They did win. You know, so you got to give it to them. I mean, I love to see Godsent perform well because of all the expectations. I mean, out of all the names of all the teams in this PMCO, I see Godsent. I'm like, all right, I know this squad. We know that they're supposed to do good, and that's exactly what they did in match number 3. Still 1 more left to go, though. Tons of matches left here in this group stage, but you want to start off good, right? I mean, I don't think there's any better way to do it is get some big points on the board, so that way you just kind of take that stress off of you in the later matches coming up, because you're going to have these squads dealing with different groups, different heavy hitters, and you want to put some points on the board while you can.
And let's look at the rankings. And while we look at the rankings, I just want to kind of point out, pull it up.
Pull it up.
Remember,
pull it up.
Rotate lobbies each day of the group stage. Every single group, they have 12 games. And we've seen this, with the PMCO pros at this point when it comes to watching PMCO. We got that experience. Correct. We got those badges. Group A, they're not playing the last day. So Group A in particular, they really want to come out strong, swinging out of the gate here today in their first 4 games. Because you know what? The last day, they're going to be sitting on the sidelines, just hoping that they have enough points to qualify. And we've seen that same story played out so many times in the past. And it always, for some reason, it always comes down to 1 point. So every single kill, it always comes down to 1 point. Like, I'm not even making that up. It's always like 1 or 2 points. No joke. So every single kill really counts here.
Dude, no joke, man. That's a great point. Group A, they're going to have to pop off. But you're so right, dude. We've seen literally squads crush their dreams crushed by not making it by literally 1 point multiple times, like you said. So we're seeing out the bat, HTV leading the leaderboards here, 49 points. Godsent coming in second. Wall Street Bets. I mean, those are the 2 teams we talked about, I think, at the top of the show, Godsent and Wall Street Bets. And you see them both in the top 3. So as expected, performing well, better than you. Dropping down to 4th after that kind of tough match number 3. But I got a feeling that they're going to pop back here in the last match.
Yeah, they got a nice little 50-50 when we're looking at kill points to placement points ratio, currently 38. So last Miramar game, not too hot, right? They got, mistakes were made, but 4th place so far, especially for a squad that, I got to say, not on the radar of a lot of teams or a lot of viewers and a lot of people out there expecting to, if they had to predict who's coming out on day number 1. Better Than You wasn't one of those names that people told me. People told me Wall Street Bets. People told me Godsent. People told me Ornata, right? Those were the 3 big names that a lot of people told me. Better Than You wasn't there. So for them to be, yeah, exactly. So for them to be here right now, pretty good. Solid stuff.
Yeah, I love to see straight out into Paul push up as well after that chicken dinner. That's going to make him into 6th place. I'm sorry. So that's a great move for them. As we move on to the second page, here we'll see the teams that are still having a tough time. And we see a big drop. We're starting to see a big point gap at the get-go 49 points right now to start it off in first place after 3 matches. And we're just seeing right here in this second page, we have Walls Castle, 14 points, unfortunately. And they had Pecado in the last match. So that's a tough one to swallow there. They're going to have to really do something great in this last one. And then all the way down at the bottom, just for fun and University.
And Immortal as well. And these
Immortal,
three
yeah.
teams, and even in 13th, these 4 teams on the bottom 4, all Group A. So that just goes to a point even further. Like, okay, one more game to go. Obviously, try to get that chicken dinner. But if you can't set yourself up for that chicken dinner, try to get some kills. We're looking at 3, 6, 4, 3. Try to get some kills to kind of offset the potential of getting taken out in 13th through 16th, where you get 0 points, right? That's all you could do here. You don't want to finish today, especially in Group A, dead last. You just do not. You cannot afford that, I don't think, if you really, truly want to qualify. So we'll pay attention to those 4 squads here coming in this last game for sure.
Yeah, heck no, dude. You do not want to be in that kind of spot. And like you mentioned, with being in Group A, on the last day, they're going to be sitting, just literally looking at and just biting their nails as hoping teams that don't pass them up. So Group A need to create a crazy lead ahead. So big, in fact, that teams don't have a chance at being able to catch up to them, especially with so much at stake. But hey, I'm not going to lie, dude. I mean, first day of PMCO, I love this, man. I think we're seeing a whole new PMCO than what we've seen in the past. These squads are playing very, very well for it being the club open.
Not only that, I'm looking forward to tomorrow. You got Group C and D just on the sidelines, probably jealous of all the action that's been erupting here today on day 1. But of course, we cannot forget, with the flagship performance and immersive 120 hertz display and technology made specifically for these gamers like HyperTouch, the OnePlus 9 and 9 Pro are their best shots to climbing up that leaderboard, Jukes.
Ooh, that hyper touch technology, that warp charge, baby. It's too good to be true. Got to get your hands on one of them here. And guess what? We're going to see a lot of teams try to get their hands on a chicken dinner in this last match, man. Erangel taking it back to the homeland. They've had one game in the past to be able to see where these other teams are going to drop. We're going to see who's going to come out on top here as these players are getting loaded up and ready in the lobby. Let's get it.
All right. And after this, Groups A and B, only 8 more games. That's not a lot, dude. That is not a lot, especially if you're down there towards the bottom. Like 8 games, you really need to perform and be consistent to beat top 16. Because if you're struggling here in the group stage, you're going to struggle in finals. And if you make it to PMPL, you are definitely going to struggle. So let's see, ladies and gentlemen, the players loaded up in the plane, lock and loaded, Erangel final map of the night. Let's get it.
The plays, baby, the plays. And we're going to see what team is going to be able to make some of those plays, as we got a very familiar playing path. This is pretty close to what we saw in the first game. A little bit heading off, a little angled off to the west side, probably heading towards Georgepol. But, I mean, this is a similar playing path, so we should see teams pretty much do the same thing, in my opinion.
Let me get a vibe check in the chat real quick. I see a lot of people in the chat talking about vibes. So vibes, they had a solid game. They actually got a chicken dinner here today, if I'm not mistaken. So let's get that vibe check in the chat and let us know, chat, who are we rooting for here in this final map of day number 1? Who do we think is going to come out on top? And I'm going to be rooting for Ornada. We see them already jumping out the ship down here towards military base. Okay. Might be looking for some early fights down here.
Doing a little bit of a split action here. You got Ogilvy most likely heading straight down into military base. But Ornada kind of surrounding this military island here, doing a little bit of a split loot action. Got to be very careful when they move up around this map. It can be a little bit tough trying to do this particular strategy, but it could definitely pay off if they're able to move quick enough.
So we'll see. Last game they had, I believe, not last game, but the Erangel, did they have somewhat of a bridge camp going on? But that's not going to be the case here this game. because
Look at
we were
that.
talking about vibes. If anything, vibes are going to be the team to possibly bridge camp or even 6 elites down there. They're going to be duking it out down towards that east side bridge. Besides that, though, just for fun, yes, Naya, all to themselves. Like, they're looking at this circle and they're like, hey, we're going to have some fun here this game, boys. And before we get to that, well, we got two squads right here, Walls Castle and GT.
Well, here's the thing. Walls Castle, they've seemed to be a squad that's always landing dead center. They landed in Pecado in the last match, and it didn't work out for them. They actually got taken out really, really early. So can they redeem themselves here? Can they be able to be the kings of Pachinki? And they got some work ahead of them as they got Team GT here. They're doing a great job at doing this kind of roof play from Boy Clutch, trying to get some angles, trying to get some spots. Got to be really careful, though, because if you get knocked on this roof, you're screwed.
Bad Boy Clutch. Definitely one of my favorite names here for today, playing that Spider-Man role. No helmet, though, so it adds to your point. They need to be extremely cautious up there trying to catch some angles because their head is going to be awfully exposed as they do got 2 squad mates right beneath them from GT. Bad Boy Clutch, AKM in hand. We got Coop's little brother out here. DP.
The hermanito.
We'll see. We'll see.
The baby bro.
Bad Boy Clutch, though. Okay, so Walls Castle, soft 2-2 split. Soft 2-2 split right here. GT trying to surround him, it looks like.
Yeah, you can see them just trying to get some angles and play it very, very carefully. This first initial knock, especially when it comes into side of a Pachinki, is just so crucial. So GT have to play this a little carefully. They're at a disadvantage, I think, when it comes positionally wise, because you do have Walls Castle have those rooftops. They got really good angles, but they cannot get overconfident. One little mistake, one slip up, and they're going to get knocked and thirsted. So it looks like both these teams are just kind of respecting each other right now, which I personally don't mind, especially when you got a member like GT AFP here with only a shotgun, dude. And not to mention the worst one, in my opinion. That pump shotty, it sucks, dude. I hate that thing.
Hey, that's a fact, dude. I was playing a gun game last night, and I actually threw it for my squad. I could not get off of that shotgun. Bad Boy Clutch. We were talking about them angles up here on the roof. Was able to get one, but Coops, M249. Okay, Bad Boy Clutch doing the Spidey punch. You got to be happy, though. A knock and a thirst, that is going to force GT to, like, pump them brakes and be like, yo, GT, chill out. You're not going to take our territory right here.
Beautifully played. Beautiful spot. It was on that rooftop, like I mentioned. When you're on that particular spot, you have just so much vision and real estate to be able to make some plays. And he was able to catch one of the members from GT slipping, get the thirst. And I love the fact that the second he did get that, when he was going for the thirst, the second he got shot with one bullet, instantly unpeaked and got into safety. So beautifully well played for Walls Castle. You know that they're really, they need to bounce back. They need a good game here. And this is going to be the last game here for Group A and Group B. Tomorrow, we're going to see C and D play. So they're going to go on a little bit of vacation. And you do not want to have that whole day off just sad, bro. You know what I'm saying? Just like, we did terrible. We got Soviet point. You don't want that. So Walls Castle, it's good for them to get this good initial kill, but they still got a lot of work ahead of them.
Yeah, you got to keep the brain, got to keep that thing happy. The mental state, got to definitely keep your head in the game. GT pulling off with the buggy. So small victories, right? And they add up. Walls Castle, yeah, you know, some people might be like, oh, they only got one kill. Like, what's the big deal? Well, they got one kill, and now they have the potential to really show their dominance, right?
True.
For that drop spot. When we look at other groups, other teams in the lobby that might want to drop there, they're like, well, Walls Castle, they dropped there, and they were quick with getting those angles, those rooftops. That was pretty quick. So maybe they'll second guess their decision to drop and just let Walls Castle have that spot for themselves here for the PMCO Fall NA. So small victories, man. It all adds up somehow. It does. Trust me, it does.
Definitely. I mean, it's a little tough in the group stages because they're going to be facing pretty much different teams every single time. But these other teams are watching these other games. I guarantee you got some players from Group C and D watching these matches right now. And if they see Walls Castle just asserting dominance in Pachinki, they're going to be like, hey, you know what? Well, I think we got to leave them Pachinki. I don't want to head that way. So it's definitely important to, like you mentioned, to put that stamp on your spot because it's going to become big, especially as the later stages go on.
Yeah, it wasn't the big flashy, squad wipe, crazy, grenades, mollies getting thrown everywhere. It was one kill, but I think it adds up, Groups D, Group C, they're watching these games. They have to. Like, if you're not watching this game and you're not playing, you're throwing because this is just free information, free data that you're putting in the pre-show that you need to have in your playbook if you're taking this serious, if you really want to qualify. So Walls Castle, small victory, but in my opinion, it's going to add up here because they might just be able to claim Pachinki for themselves in their next 2 games, or next 2 days, that is.
Yeah, and if you're able to do that, that's just huge, dude. Pachinki, so central. No matter where the circle goes, you're going to be in a great spot to be able to rotate to your next location. So we're starting to see right here by Shelter at the big red shopping center. Godsent, they're going to hold that down as we see them getting them DEPs out when it comes to Bullseye building right here.
A lot of DPs coming out this final match.
Dude, DP's so strong.
And M249. Medusa M249 DP. Okay, my favorite player right now. Swapping to that DP, trying to get some shots with that 4 times on a GT rolling by. The DP M249 combo, I have not seen that yet here in competitive. Medusa making trends. Setting trends, setting the meta. I love it, Hot Jukes. And you know what?
Dude, you can't
to
go
add
wrong.
back to our conversation from last game, PMPO, auto assist off. All right, I'm just throwing that out there.
Ooh.
With all the bullets in the M249, the DP, your chances of hitting those shots, I think, increase. I think that's just what my thought is on that one. That's why I think the M249 is so strong, and we're gonna see a lot more players pick it up here in competitive.
Can't go wrong, dude. That spray and pray can definitely come into action. That DP, though, has become the meta. Like, it is the long-range gun to have, especially with that 4-round burst. It's basically the new sniper rifle, to be honest. Like, players have figured out that you can just 4-round burst it, and if you just see a little head, no matter where it is, the second the first bullet hits, all 4 get headshots. It's an instant knock. It's so gross. So I love to see team players really put that in action. Next zone, though, is going to head on up and center right here towards the school shelter area. Yasnaya Fields as well. I wouldn't be surprised if the zone goes to Yasnaya Fields. It seems to always have to be a finish around there. We'll see if that does end up happening. But right up here on top is a beautiful angle to hold. Better than you. Got 1 kill so far. Looking to bounce back after that rough game they had here in the last match.
Yeah, 6 elites pulling up on the opposite end of this hill. Looks like better than you, able to take some shots and kind of scare off 6 elite. Keep this area for themselves. I know you talk about this position multiple times. You're always praising it.
Oh, yeah.
I know
it's
when other
spot.
teams take it up. Yeah, why is that though? I'm just curious. Like,
why
that?
You got so much real estate. It's so difficult to push up on it because no matter where you're at, you can't see up it. You have to be on top and crest that hill to see this area. So many teams are very, very scared to just push up into it. So you're able to control a large piece of real estate. You have to do it diligently because if you're not careful, a team can crest up on you and you'll get taken out really quickly. But if you're able to hold it down well, which better than you seem to be doing, it's a very, very dominant position here. Personally, it's pretty close second for that zone. I love that north shelter spot. But, I mean, we'll see how they end up playing it out.
So I want to start something new here this season. I want to put things in tiers, spots in tiers. Would that be a S tier, A tier, B tier? Like, if you had to rank that spot.
For that zone?
What tier would it be?
S tier,
for this zone?
S
tier?
Yeah.
Okay.
S tier. And the reason why is because, like, personally, in my experience of watching playing, you want to put yourself in a position where no matter where the zone goes next, you're in a great spot rotationally. The thing is that if you put yourself in a spot where the zone hard shifts away from you, you're like, oh, we're screwed. There's no way we're getting into this next circle. But if you happen to put yourself in a position like where they're at, no matter where the zone goes, they're going to be able to get vision and be able to see, okay, there's a team here. This is how we're going to be able to get into the zone. And that's why I like it.
Kind of work with the zone, not against the zone, I guess. Try to look for
Papa Blue don't play, baby.
For any type
Papa
of
Blue don't play.
Yeah, try to be one with Papa Blue, not against Papa Blue. So definitely like that, and I like that insight as well that you provided right there. I think that's an S tier insight, Juke. So I appreciate that.
Thank you.
As we get back into the game, a lot of these squads, they found some buildings, some compounds, some terrain for the time being to call home in this circle number 2. Wall Street Bets, little 2-2 split up there. Straight out of Nepal, we saw last game. Just roll up, late game, 4 up, like, hey, what's going on, everybody? Yeah, we're here. And they got the win. So let's see if they can do it again. Ooh, you called it. Yes, Nia Fields.
Telling
right
you, bro.
There.
You have to have
crystal ball jukes.
It seems to always be a thing, dude. No matter what, you got to have a Yasnaya Field finish in a competitive match. And the thing is that it's a hard shift, so I'd love to see teams just kind of hug that zone, and you always want to go to the hard shift side because it's most likely going to be free, and you can see that that's the case right now. But you're going to see a lot of teams start heading towards those fields, picking those prime locations, because a lot of these teams, I guarantee you, these teams are super familiar with this ending. Look at HTV, top team in the lobby, doing exactly what I said. Hugging zone, heading to the hard shift side. Beautifully done.
Why rotate up here to the north? Now, featuring is going to be up here to the north as well on the opposite end of this one.
Oh,
I would like to see some leapfrogging, though. I know time's not on their side. What? Ornata, though. One of their squad mates are sending it across the bridge, looking to get aggressive, while the other two are still chilling. Shady. It was Shady.
Out of here.
Shady and Skur. Yeah, okay.
2-2.
2-2. This is a lot of terrain to cover, though, for a duo.
I'll tell you what, dude. That bridge, though, shut down. I don't think they're going to want to cross it. The Terror are going to leave it to pick a different... Yeah. The Terror are going to leave that spot, but they don't know that. So it's going to be interesting to see how the other two members of Ornata are going to be able to catch up with their team.
We'll have to pay attention to the kill feed because Better Than You looking to make some plays. Menace kind of low in the health department, and Walls Castle, we were praising them for their early game Pachinki dominance. 4 up at one point. Bad Boy Clutch, though, trying to make sure their angles are secure as we got the Butcher down there on the low ground and the compound, possibly trying to catch an angle and backstab him from the side, but it does look like Baby Bad Boy Clutch is going to be aware of the Butcher.
I don't like the split from Walls Castle. It's a little bit too much. I don't think they're in a good position to be able to support each other here. So Better Than You can see, even though they do have Butcher on a big off angle, it is really good for them from that side. But here comes Sadiko trying to catch him, since they do realize that Butcher is isolated. They're going to press up onto him right here, and there goes Butcher. He says, I'm out of here. And he's going to have to get some help from his team. Beautifully, honestly, very beautifully executed from both squads. That was honestly,
almost like
I love that.
A little bait and switch action right there. Butcher
like
zigging and zagging into the buggy. Yeah, their squad mates, 3 members on the high ground on the hill with the potential to provide that cover fire. And they said, sit down, Walls Castle. We don't care what happened to Pachinki. You're not taking out Butcher. That was great.
The reason why I'm so impressed with that is because if Butcher left 1 second later, literally 1 second later, I guarantee you he's knocked.
Dead.
But he left at the perfect, he got the information from his teammates saying, bro, they're sending it on you, leave. Because 4v1, no matter how good you are, unless they completely throw, you're done. So he was able to get to that beautiful hill where his team was able to support him with cover fire. And I love to see that. Walls Castle did, I believe, lose a member. Yeah, in that rotation. Yep. But they're trying to make it back in the circle. So, Better Than You, showing why they have that name, because they are making very, very smart decisions.
Well, let's see. They're going to be put to the test once again. University trying to make the pull up better than you. Both popping in their respective vehicles, trying to retreat, trying to get a better position in the zone. Drac is going to be spotted in the tail end. The sacrifice right here to University as their 3 squad mates drive off into the sunset. But now they have the potential to gatekeep, because University, they aren't in the zone technically. They're going to be up there on the high ground. But better than you, finding this dip. Ooh, Nepal. Ooh, I don't know if I like this spot right now. I'm a little nervous.
That's not a bad spot. I mean, they got a really good position, but they got to watch out for University really pushing up on them. But the problem is that they can't really crest this hill. Yeah, you see those smokes coming out?
Yeah.
That's to cover their sight lines there so they can press. Featuring, gonna take this dip. Oh, what shenanigans? 180s.
Okay.
Gotta get taken out. This dip in high contention here. Vibes. Just vibing out. Oh.
Vibing too hard, bro. Vibing too hard.
Vibing. Hey, no. I said vibing out, and I meant vibing out this game and back in the lobby, baby.
Hey, GG's. But we'll have to keep tabs on that one. I'm really curious on Straight Paul's oversight on Better Than You. But featuring, it's so interesting because the zone shifted on them, right? They were up there towards the north on the west-hand side, right above the Yasnaya inlet. But the zone shifted, and they tried to go for that wide rotate, just getting caught out in the field. Now, we get to look at the mayhem in Yasnaya. I'm counting 4, maybe even 5 squads here. HTV definitely one of the stronger teams in Yasnaya, just based off their performance here today. Still 4 up. I'm looking at them here to make it on out alive, honestly.
Top team in the lobby right now for a reason. I mean, you see them just doing very, very well at just supporting each other, putting suppressive fire, and you can just see a lot of squads just in big trouble. The Terror, they have 2 down, and they can get those reses if they're able to get that cover, just considering with their position, but they got to play it very careful. 1 misstep, and they're going to be 3 down, and that's going to be tough.
Yeah, fortunate for them, there's a lot of tasty treats right now for HTV. There's a lot of potential points, skill points in their grasp, so that is going to buy the Terror some time to maybe use those smokes, create that soft cover, get those pickups, and maybe even a reset. As we're popping back over here, zone once again, just throwing a piece of baloney at Better Than You and University's face, as University looking for the drive-by.
Oh, here comes the bull, and they are going for the drive-by. Full send, trying to get the run over. Oh, Better Than You there, big trouble. Yeah, he's gonna have to make a play as Menace. Oh, in the bush!
The bush!
What? The support play? The support from across the map, and you can see Menace looking on over saying, thank you. Thanks, buddies.
Hats
No
off.
problem.
Hats off to Straight Out Nepal. And that is exactly what I was looking at. Like, Straight Out Nepal, they had some solid sight lines onto that bull. Like, you mentioned it. Once when they crest over the hill, they're going to be spotted. And, dude, top 10 bush confirmed right there. They're still going to be alive Better Than You. As we're looking over here, Walls Castle, they were able to kind of leapfrog around that man, around that fight. And now they're on the opposite end, the bull here, or the dip on the road from Straight Out Nepal. Kind of playing that bodyguard role for them, actually.
What I want to see now is we saw Straight Out of Nepal able to get a chicken dinner, but they didn't get a lot of kills. But I'll tell you right now, with their position, I want to see some hyper-aggressive play, and I want to see them get some knocks and finishes. This is a good opportunity for them to put major points on the board. Oh, Better Than You.
This
what
is
a
target practice all day. Target practice all day. I would blow up these vehicles, I would pop these cars, and I would just take as many shots as possible. Straight Out Nepal, they are so comfortable right here. The Butcher over the ledge. The Butcher. Still somehow managed to keep their squad alive with that UMP. You talked about it, the new meta out here. You gotta have it up close and personal. You got to use the UMP, and that right there is a prime example of why that is.
Man, dude, what a well-played shot. Butcher just coming up in clutch, and I think he's the last remaining member, as they had to split to try to get a position, but they are just so in trouble. This is where the action's going to happen, though. right here at the edge of Yasnaya. Look at how many squads are here. You got Just for Fun, the Terror, and they're gonna feel some terror right now to get into this next circle. This is gonna be a tough shift. GT as well.
If I'm any of these teams right here in this 3-story, I would not pay attention to Immortal in that dip. You got to focus on clearing each and every floor. As Just for Fun are going to be on the top story here. Here comes the Terror trying to sweep around the floor here. Go for the pickup. I did hear some glass break. I did hear a vault. Both sides going for the reset here. Just for Fun. This is their moment.
Good luck with the footsteps, dude. I mean, there's going to be a ton of them. You just got to go and just make some flicks and make some plays happen. Brar with a beautiful catch there. Going to pick up those 2 points. Going to try to get back in the building. Does get caught. But here comes the blue now, and it's coming in hot. Oh, Coops! The baby Coops getting shut down. Not the baby Coops.
Just for Fun.
And then you got Midnight knocked as well. The Terror just scoring for nothing but revives. As Gil is the last remaining member, he's going to get one of their teammates up, and they do have a little bit of real estate here to be able to survive. So Just for Fun, I think they're doing a great job of just kind of sharing for now, but they don't want to share for too long. That could be a great nade. Oh, doesn't get it, though.
Oof. Uzi, though. You're ready. Trick is ready.
He wants that nade.
Maybe get the bounce
Who's gonna get
off
this
the
nade,
door. Both of them throw grenades back and forth.
Oh!
Just for Fun. Got it. Trick got it. Healing up right here. There's only one alive. Midnight from Terror. They had the numbers advantage. Volt out the window.
There you go.
Clean them out. Clean up the house, and that's exactly what they're doing. They got them. And look at all these juicy crates. The loot goblins right there. And they get the zone for the most part. So Just for Fun, playing pretty passive there. It actually paid off. They're still healthy. Huge. They're alive.
Straight out of Nepal, getting a beautiful 6 kills. This is what I wanted to see from them. Considering their position, I want to see them get some big numbers while they had the chance. But now they're starting to get pieced up from across the map. Godsent, you know, one of the top teams in the lobby, doing some great work here as a full squad. They came all the way up here from that north shelter spot. I told you that was one of the strongest ones. And you can just see them doing a great job as a team, just holding this area down. Wall Street Bet still alive as well.
Love how Assault right there from Godsent popping in that buggy, trying to get some additional sight lines. Those angles, trying to spot out these snakes in the wheat field. Godsent all separated to make sure that one grenade will not take them out. This is great. I love what we're seeing from Godsent here.
You see what their cover is? Nothing but vehicles, man. This is why it's so huge to get those pickups. Fluffy though, getting a beautiful knock there. Catches the spot onto King, one of the top killers in the lobby right now. And Fluffy's going to push up a little by little because here comes the blue zone. This is so hard, though. It's starting to hurt. He's going to stand up. Oh, not able to get there. That's just part of the game, man. Godsent doing a great job of cleaning up this side of the map. And they are coming in hot, applying pressure on the Wall Street Bets.
Dude, and look at this. Wall Street Bets and Godsent, both squads realizing, okay, we got a team over there in the buildings with the high ground just taking shots, trying to third party us. Jag trying to get those suppressed mini shots. Almost able to get the knock. Godsent still 4 up, though, but Steve-O with the grenade connecting onto Nemesis. You need to watch that. You need to watch yourself here. That's what Steve-O's saying. And they're not looking to pump the brakes anytime soon. Steve-O's making the push.
What you need to do, though, you need to see Wall Street Bets and Godsent kind of become teammates here and take out Just for Fun, considering that they're wide out in the open. You do not want Just for Fun pushing up onto you in this position because Godsent and Wall Street Bets are focusing on each other. That's going to allow Just for Fun to push up practically for free and cause spoiler and win the game. So it's interesting to see this strategy come out from both of these squads. Beautiful nade though from Trey.
Trey with the grenade to open this one up. Casper on their knees, Leon out. Lexi, though, able to get some knocks of their own. Ebo's still alive, has the smoke for the time being.
Beautiful spray.
Trey! Dude, that was... Wow.
Lay down spots. But guess what? Since these guys are going at it with each other, that allowed Just for Fun to push up for free, like I mentioned. And then now you got Jag on the other end saying, dude, now I got to worry about this squad as well. It is not going to be good. And there goes Trick, putting a nade onto Casper. And now Wall Street Bet's in big trouble. It's just Steve-O.
Yeah, just down to
little
one.
Steve-O.
Just Steve-O. And Steve-O, I see them crawling back,
Look at
trying
Trey
to remain undetected. Here comes the push, though. Just for fun. 4 up. They were able to push across that field for free. Look at you have to
they're
hit
so
it.
close.
Jack right there. Popping up, though.
Oh, the turn!
The spray. The M4 spray.
What a beautiful shot there. And then now you got Godsent having to make something happen. Hacks has the advantage. Trey needs to go back and most likely get rezzed. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like they have any utility left to provide them any cover. Wall Street Bet's eliminated. The last 2 remaining members. That's it. Just for fun. And Godsent going at it.
Grenade?
Oh, Godsent's in big trouble.
Trick probably
Trey's
going
gotta
to
make a play.
This pickup. Trick has to go for this pickup or make a play, like you said. Snipes bleeding on out. This smoke blocking the sidelines from Hacks. And Trey.
Yo, Trey, you got that clutch? You got that clutch, Trey? Huh?
Look at
You
this.
got a Trey
They're all
clutch
just healing
in the
up,
oven?
manning up.
Bro, dude, good luck.
gonna be
I
a
mean, this is
challenge.
tough. Yeah, I mean, he's got to make a big. I mean, Just for Fun have so many sight lines. They know exactly where he is. And Trey is just snaking it to make it right now. It's not, I mean, it's going to take a Christmas miracle for him to win this one, to be honest.
It's almost December, though. DP,
It's
grenade. If
August.
Trey can get a grenade. Almost.
Dude, they saw where that nade came from.
Yeah,
they saw. Yeah, oh yeah, that's it. That's all over, baby. But another great finish for Godsent, to be honest. I mean, another top 2 finish. I don't think they can really shake their heads at that. But that's what I was mentioning. I'm surprised that Godsent decided to go for Wall Street Bets, considering that Just for Fun was outside the zone. I think most of the time you would have seen 2 teams there just be like, hey, these are free points coming on in, and we'll worry about each other later. But since they decided to go at it, Just for Fun came up in and took the chicken dinner.
I think what happened, though, is they didn't have an option, right? Because Wall Street Bets, we saw Steve-O get a couple grenades in and then started to push over that hill. That's just my take, but that was definitely a free pass for Just for Fun. Because Just for Fun, they had to jump out of that 3rd story. They were spotted. They were receiving fire of their own, and they had to run across that open terrain, and they were downhill as well. So they definitely have the cards stacked against them. But good for them. Just for Fun. I was talking to Snipes today. Literally a group of friends who all live near each other. They know each other in real life. And they said, let's do this. Let's do this PMCO thing. Coming into this lobby, getting a chicken dinner, that's an accomplishment. Yeah, that's an accomplishment for sure.
And I ain't gonna lie, considering that their name is perfect, right? It's Just for Fun. Like, hey, we're playing this just for fun. If they were gonna get a chicken dinner, you couldn't pick a better time, in my opinion. The last game of the day, to be able to go off on that note. I think that, it may be just for fun for them, but after getting a dinner, they're going to be like, yo, time to put in some work, dog. Let's go. Let's get them time cards. Let's clock in and let's put in some hours so we can get, onto the next stage.
I think that's the strategy here. You say it's just for fun because you don't want the expectations to be high. But once when you make it a PMPL, it's like it was all planned. They're going to change the name, all planned. So let's check out these leaderboards. It was all planned. It wasn't just for fun, all planned. Let's check out the leaderboards. So groups A and B, 4 games in the books. Wow, talk about consistency here today. They were able to always be in that top 5 every single game for the most part, and that right there paying off 10 points ahead of Wall Street Bets.
Yo, I mean, we literally said at the top of the show, 2 teams that have the highest expectations. Godsent, Wall Street Bets. Literally, Span Cargo said that herself, and boom, what do we see? First place, Godsent. Second, Wall Street Bets. Got to give it up to HTV. I mean, they're only 1 point behind. Better than you in 4th place with 49 points. I mean, this has just been a great PMCO first game. I think that we're seeing literally so many squads, and just the level of play has leveled up so much in just such a short period of time.
Straight out Nepal as well. You can't knock a strategy
True.
that's working. You know, every time we talk about them, we're like, man, they're playing real passive. Like they have the potential to really get a lot of kills from their advantage, right? Their positions. But that's the thing, though. We're always talking about how they have such a great position. So I think that right there, another accomplishment. 16 kills, okay, but 5th place after day one. Straight out of Nepal. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't listen to Dave. Don't listen to Jukes. All right, we're just critiquing you guys right after them just for fun. That chicken dinner boosting them up here to that first page.
Bro, dude, they had 2 placement points in 3 games. 2. And then with that last game, 15, that gave them 17 in total. And that put them on the first place. They were almost in last place. You know, I think they were second to last. So just like that, 1 chicken dinner, 1 good game, I mean, could change the game for you. They could put you in the running, and now they are. Now they're in a good spot.
And that chicken dinner, what worries me, though, is once we're in Godsend, once when Wall Street bets, once when HCV start getting those chickens,
true,
that gap is going to start to grow. Let's check out the second page, though. Let's check out the teams who really need to look and review the footage here tonight and really put their heads together. And 8 more games to go here. 8 more games to go. Top 16 is the goal. So they have time. They have time to come back here, Hot Jukes.
For sure. I mean, I look at Ornata Gaming, got some great players in there, but you know, after talking to them, I know that they've literally only playing together for a week. So you can see that, you know, a little disparity cost them to, you know, be in such a low placement here, but you know, anything could change in the days coming up. But I'll tell you what, you do not want to, there's not very much time. You don't got, you know, 20 weeks of play. You've got 3 days pretty much of games to get it done. So every single one is just so crucial if you want to make it into the next stage.
Well, you know what? Just to kind of touch on to that Ornata point that you're making here, looking at their Twitter, they have an analyst and they have a manager.
Oh.
So, yeah, exactly. And I believe I was talking to Christopher earlier today, one of the owners of the organization, and they said one of their main goals that they want to work on here for PMCO are the team fights and the synergy. And that right there, only having 3 kills, to me, that's you didn't really get in those team fights like you wanted to.
True.
So we'll see. We'll see what the analysts can do on that squad and hopefully provide some insights and some support from the sidelines. And when we see Ornata in the next days that they play, which is going to be the 19th, hey, maybe a completely different team.
I love to see the ability of squads to bounce back. For me, that's what really shows a team that has the ability to be a championship team. For my eyes, the Terror, they had a rough first game. They made a really big mistake, quick push, got taken out with 2 members early, and they got punished. And that's not the great start, but I love to see them bounce back, and that's exactly what they did. They had a great rest of the day. So I'm looking forward to these teams on the second page being able to take a page from the Terror's book and be able to do that, because honestly, that's the hardest thing. When you have a bad day, a bad game, and it happens to every team at the highest level, they deal with that pressure. But to show that, hey, you know what? We're able to get across it and be able to show up, that is huge. And it's tough to do. Not very many teams are able to do it. And if you're able to, you can show that you can hang with the big boys in my eyes.
Well, we got 5 more days to go when we're talking about PMCO group stage. And of course, big shout out to the sponsor, OnePlus 9 Pro, the flagship performance and immersive 120 hertz display and technology made for gamers with that hyper touch. Well, it's their best shot to climbing up that leaderboard. So 5 more days. Tomorrow, the chat is going to be extremely happy. Team OP, Group D, they're going to be here tomorrow, Hot Juke. So keep spamming.
Hey, I've been seeing nothing but Badu OP in the chat, you know, so I'm excited to see tomorrow how many people show up for Team OP. Mañana, let's get it.
Let's get it, baby. So anything else you want to add to this one, Hot Jukes? Final thoughts here.
like I mentioned, this has been, I mean, this is the club open with the highest prize pool that we've ever seen. And to be honest with you, I'm really excited because we're seeing 15 minutes in, 20 minutes in with only one team dead. That's very familiar for what we see in bigger stages. And before, we would see, like, sometimes we would just be like, man, dude, teams are dying back and forth, running around each other, doing crazy stuff. But I think those days have passed us, Dave. Like, literally, if the PMCO is leveling up so hard, what's going to happen in PMPL? What's going to happen in PMGC or the other big tournaments coming up? That's why when I see stuff like this, it just gives me so much excitement. And for everybody in the chat, for the teams that struggle today, give them some support. I want to see some new players come in strong and really burst through the scene.
Yeah, and they definitely have time to make that clap back if they didn't pop off here today. 8 more games to go. Groups A, Groups B. Tomorrow, Groups C and D. Fresh, no games played. So they're going to have 4 games of their own to kind of match their opponents here on the overall leaderboard. That race for that top 16, that's the goal here in group stages. Once we're done, top 16, go to finals. And then for finals, PMPL. You got some cash money along the way. Well, that's the goal. PMPL dreams, baby. So, ladies and gentlemen, same time, same place tomorrow. Mark it down on your calendar. Make sure you show up. Team OP will be here for sure. And GG's to all the teams, all the players that competed here today. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching PUBG Mobile Club Open.
See ya.
The OnePlus 9 Pro.
The OnePlus 9 Pro. Oh my god, this phone feels incredible. The best processor, 120 hertz, 12 gigs of RAM, and a Hasselblad camera. What more could you want?
The hyper touch on this bad boy is phenomenal.
The best model of OnePlus phone I have used to date.